tonight, looking across historic Boston Harbor. We've come up the road just a few miles to Chestnut Hill. ACC football, Pitt at BC next. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Here from Boston College, in our matchup here in this conference, the Pitt Panthers on the road to take on the BC Eagles. And hi, everybody. Dave Fleming along with Danny Cannell and Allison Williams. Welcome here into the broadcast booth for a good matchup here tonight. Start of weekend number 2, Danny, here the college football season. The college football playoff, it's new this year. I am sure that selection committee is going to be watching a couple of these games this weekend very, very closely. Definitely going to be looking at some games and some teams, but also conferences, specific conferences. The Big Ten under a lot of pressure this week, and the Pac-12 has some huge matchups. One out in the state of California, up in Northern California, as Southern Cal goes on the road and tries to take down Stanford. That should be a real physical game. SC running their new no-huddle offense. Then you've got Virginia Tech going into Columbus. Ohio State struggled in week 1 against Navy. And then finally the matchup everybody's looking forward to, including myself, Oregon against Michigan State. Spartans are going on the road. To me, Michigan State doesn't have to win this game. Obviously they would love to, but they absolutely have to show up and have a good game, a solid showing, or else they could be on the outside looking in, even if they do win the Big Ten. So they need to have a good showing out there. I think good points you make, because we're all trying to figure this out, how this selection committee is going to work, how these non-conference games and early conference games are going to impact that. Meanwhile, we got a good one here in the ACC. Pitt on the road. It's BC's home opener. Two teams that look good in week 1. For the BC Eagles, maybe the biggest story, I think they found a quarterback. I do too. They found him from the University of Florida. He was playing there last year, played some meaningful snaps, played pretty well too at that position. He graduated early. He was looking around at some options, said, hey, BC looks like an offense that I could fit into, and Steve Adazio loves the way he plays the position. Very mobile. He's got a good arm, but Pitt's biggest challenge will be containing him inside the pocket. Do not let him beat you with his legs. He went over 100 yards last weekend. Meanwhile, I think the BC defense has a pretty big challenge too. You may not have heard a lot about Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, Pitt wide receiver, one of the best at his position in the country. Yeah, maybe one that not a lot of people know about, but you will, because he is special. We know about Pitt, the history of wide receivers they've got. Maybe one of the best in their history is Larry Fitzgerald. We know what he did at Pitt. We know what he does now in the NFL. One of the best ever. Really impressive. But guess who shattered all of his records? Tyler Boyd, who we'll see tonight. He is special, not only as a receiver, but in the return game as well. He's a little bit nicked up, but I don't think it's going to faze him tonight. Well, speaking of that, that could be a big story. A little more on the injury for Tyler Boyd. Let's welcome in Allison Williams. Hey there, Dave. Yeah, last week in that game, Tyler Boyd dislocated his left pinky. It was a concern at the beginning of the week. He was somewhat limited in practice with a soft cast on his left hand. But for tonight, just a small pad on there. They've got it taped up underneath his gloves. He said he's sore, but it's nothing he can't play through. And don't expect this injury to limit his role on offense or on special teams. As Coach Paul Chris told us, just because he got hurt with the football in his hands doesn't mean you stop putting it there. They need to get him the football as often as they can. I think he'll be fine. I mean, we talked to him last night. He's going to wear gloves. I think it was a pretty minor injury. I love him. He's a confident young man, and he plays the position with a lot of fearlessness, and that's what you want in a returner and a receiver. Well, there's Boyd. He's back on kick return. So Pitt's going to get the ball first here. One thing that will be interesting in the early minutes of this game, both teams ran the ball over and over and over in week 1 wins against opponents that were overwhelmed. And I think this will be a much more competitive game. And we'll see how that run game works on both sides. But you got Boyd back there ready to return a kick. And he can be very, very dangerous in the return game. Pitt won the toss, and they want the ball. That may give you an idea about the confidence level they have in an offense that's finding some new pieces, some new stars. But a guy, Tyler Boyd, who is one of the very best freshmen in the country last year. So to be Alex Howell, the kicker, who will boom it deep for BC, playing their first home game. And Boyd is just going to watch that one sail through the back of the end zone. It's a touchback as the Panthers have the ball first. And the quarterback for Paul Christ's team, Chad Wojtek, who's a sophomore. He's been in the program 3 years. Talented guy. They like him.
They like him a lot. The only thing, the unknown, is really meaningful playing time. He got his first start last week, played some in their bowl game in the second half last season, but they didn't need him much last weekend. Tonight, they're going to need that play-action pass after they establish that ground game.
And Pitt's an offense that threw the ball a lot last year. They were a balanced offense last season. Their tailback, 250 pounds. Number 24, James Conner, could be one of the best rushers in the ACC. First carry, and he gets hit hard.
Oh, my goodness. Mike Strezak read that to perfection and absolutely lit up James Conner right in the hole. Watch this contact. Right there. That's meeting the guy in the hole and delivering a blow from a linebacker. That's making a statement early from BC defensively. This is going to be a physical game for both these teams. They both play hard-fought football.
Very short gain, second down. Wojtek sort of sprinting left, and that looked like a design keeper, and that did not get much, maybe a yard. Sets up third down. Danny, how about our impact players?
Well, we just saw James Conner run it the first play of the game, and Tyler Boyd, we talked about him. And then for BC, their linebacker, Josh Keyes, his defensive coordinator, Don Brown, said he believes he's the best pass rusher in the country. So that's something I want to watch closely, see if he can get after it, especially here on a play like this, a third down and long.
Let's just say that again. His coordinator thinks Josh Keyes, the best pass rusher in all of college football. And BC showing some pressure here, and it brings some pressure, and Wojtek squirts away. Out into the open field. He's got the first down and more, all the way near midfield. Finally knocked out of bounds by Tymir Brown, but a big gain of 23 yards and Pitt's first down of the game.
Well, Josh Keyes, if you're the best pass rusher in the country, you got to make this. That is an absolute layup for a sack, but he did not wrap up the quarterback. Credit Chad Wojtek for not going down. He didn't have to do a whole lot. He just kind of showed some power, stood strong in the pocket, and shook off the tackler. That was impressive from Wojtek.
He got by Keyes, and then he made a couple other BC defenders miss and got that first down. Conner, right side, gets to the edge, into BC territory. And the power of Conner. Keyes knocks him out of bounds, but it's a gain for a first down of 14 yards. So the Panthers convert on a third and long. And now James Conner with his first nice gain of the evening. Just a sophomore from Erie, Pennsylvania. Had a big finish to last year and a quick start to this year. They get the ball in Boyd's hands right away. Makes a tackler miss and cuts it upfield. Across the 35 down to about the 33, 5-yard gain.
Boyd is the type of guy you can get him the ball on a bubble screen like that, let him make a play. Got a little bit tied up with his blocker, just kind of caught legs and just kind of got in his way. But if he hits that open field, he is tough to bring down.
And that may be our first example of Pitt's attempts just to get him the ball. Find ways to get the ball in his hands, even on those quick hitters. Second down, Conner right side running, tripped up this time, and a good open field tackle to safety Dominique Williams. Down at 4 coming up. One thing we will see, Danny, these are two deliberate offenses. They huddle up. They take their time. We will not see a lot of hurry up from either side.
We can catch our breath calling this game. This is also a down and distance where BC likes to bring the blitz.
Wojtek in the shotgun. They do send pressure. Wojtek hit as he throws and just kind of floated it up for grabs. Incomplete. Strezak with the pressure.
Boy, BC had everybody up on the line of scrimmage in every gap. Didn't bring them all, but they brought the right ones. They brought more than they can block on the left side of the line. And you'll see Strezak comes in unblocked. Wojtek knew he had a shot on the outside, just couldn't get away before the pressure.
Well, Pitt's going to try a long field goal. It'll be a 49-yard attempt for Chris Blewett, who is a good kicker. Sophomore, had a big freshman year last year. This is his first field goal attempt of 2014. And the long field goal on the way, hooking it back through, and it is good.
That was a solid kick. There's a nice breeze that he's kicking into, and that ball cleared with a lot of room.
So Chris Blewett, who only got to try extra points last week, this week, a long field goal right away, right down the middle.
Plenty of room to spare, too.
And that wind is a factor. The wind swirls here in Alumni Stadium. It can be a factor in the kicking game. It can be a factor for the passers. But the Pitt Panthers on the road with the first 3 points of the game on their first drive. And there is their head coach, Paul Chryst, his third year, longtime successful offensive coordinator at Wisconsin. And hoping this is the year Pitt takes a big step forward. I think you might say the same about Steve Adazio and his BC Eagles.
Yeah, it's funny. Both these teams are very similar. But I will say this, the coaches are not. I think Steve Adazio is much more passionate, much more emotional on the sidelines, where Paul Chryst a little bit more reserved over there on his sideline.
So Miles Willis and company back deep to receive. It's a low line drive kick, and Willis takes it around the 10 and brings it back across the 25, across the 30. BC will have pretty good field position for their new quarterback, Tyler Murphy.
Here he is, last season wearing the orange and blue with the Gators helmet, and he was impressive. He had several games where he really took over and showed what he could do through the air. I think everybody already knew what he could do with his legs, but he's an impressive passer too, and he's going to have to prove it tonight. I think that's what Pitt is going to do. They're going to try to make him one-dimensional, keep him in the pocket, force him to beat him through the air.
How about this one? Tyler Murphy last week rushed for over 100 yards, the first BC quarterback ever in their program's history to do that. And he's keeping it on the first play, and he's got a nice chunk of yardage across the 40, dives forward to the 45, and a first down.
That's something you'll see a lot with Tyler Murphy at the quarterback position. That zone read it perfectly, and then the speed to cut it back and get the outside. That's where Pitt's really going to have to make a point to keep contained, to set that edge, to keep that edge, and not let him get to that outside.
So it's first down for the Eagles. Boston College with the ball for the first time against what Pitt hopes will be a very stout, strong defense. The quick pass out onto the left flat, and an immediate tackle for a short gain. Shaquem Phillips with the catch and run. How about impact players on this side?
Well, we just saw one right there. Shaquem Phillips, a transfer from UConn at the wide receiver position. Miles Willis, one of a slew of running backs you'll see for BC. And then Pitt defensively, Ray Vinipal, the safety, is going to have to make sure that he gets involved in the run game and yet doesn't get too anxious up there and respects the deep ball. He directs a lot of traffic back there in the secondary.
Murphy, fake the give, keeps and breaks a tackle. And Tyler Murphy out into the open to the 20, 10, dives. Did he get there? Yes, he did. Touchdown. $52 yards. Did he make it?
I think he did. I'm going to give it to him. We'll have to get another look up here. I don't see any knee touching the ground. I don't see anything hitting the ground. I see the ball hitting the pylon. To me, that's a touchdown.
All right, that's a little Superman
that
action.
Was impressive right there. I mean, that's Pitt's worst nightmare. That's exactly what they did not want to happen. Maybe, possibly the back toe from that angle.
Well, I do think that's the only possibility. Watch the back toe. Does it touch? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A lot of times, too, on this type of turf, there's the black rubber little pieces that are kind of like dirt, and they'll kick up if you do hit it with your foot and you didn't see any.
52 yards. He takes off from outside the 5. Teresh Webb gave him a shove, trying to push him out of bounds. And you don't see any of those little rubber bits kick up. I don't think there's anything indisputable that would overturn the call on the field. So
I think that's going to stand. His left knee potential, but I think the ball hits the pylon before his knee hits down. That is a touchdown.
What an effort by Tyler Murphy, playing his first home game here at Alumni Stadium. The transfer from Florida, kid who grew up in Connecticut. He's got his friends, he's got his family here tonight watching him.
That was an impressive drive by BC and Tyler Murphy specifically. I mean, that was 64 rush yards on the drive if that touchdown stands. So,
well, let's find out.
Pitt's going to have to make some adjustments.
Review, the runner's left foot stepped out of bounds. Well, the ball was at the 1 yard line. The ball will be placed at the 1 yard line, first and goal.
Wow, so maybe they saw something we didn't. They said that left foot, but at the 1 yard line, his toe looked like it was back about the 3.
So we'll call it a 51-yard run. And for Paul Chris, the Pitt defense at least gets a chance to hold here. It'll be first and goal. And that big Boston College offensive line will try to help BC punch one into the end zone. Tyler Rouse is the tailback behind Murphy, who is under center here. Rouse gets the ball, and he's in. End zone touchdown. Took an extra play, but BC punches it in.
Impressive drive from BC. What a great answer for them. And this is going to be a game where it's one in the trenches. And that was an example right there where BC just really good push up front.
They did not waste any time once it was first and goal. A low snap and a good hold by Murphy, who might have saved the extra point there. The kick is up and good. What a start for Tyler Murphy and the BC Eagles, leading 7-3. How about the start for Tyler Murphy? Dynamic, carrying the ball on the ground. And BC at home has a 7-3 lead here still early in the first quarter at Alumni Stadium. The stadium is buzzing after the runs from Murphy. So now it's Tyler Boyd back deep to receive for Pitt. The Panthers took the ball first, marched right down the field, kicked a long field goal, had points on the board. We're feeling pretty good. Boyd angles back and too deep in the end zone. He'll take a knee. Well, college football on ABC Saturday, an early Pac-12 showdown. It's a big one. Cody Kessler and the 14th ranked USC Trojans taking on Kevin Hogan and the 13th ranked Stanford Cardinal. It's USC Stanford 3:30 Eastern on ABC tomorrow.
This is going to be a great matchup. I love what Cody Kessler and USC did last week. They're running the no huddle, run a little up tempo. They got Cody Kessler in the gun. I like Southern Cal in this matchup, but Stanford is so tough to beat at home.
There may not be another rivalry in college football that has had more dramatic games in the last 5 years than that one.
They're a little salty, too, after last year. Some of the shenanigans and stuff said after the game.
How about Boyd getting the ball on the carry, almost like a fly sweep there, and Tyler Boyd upended by Dominique Williams. Well, we've already seen the quick hitter, almost like the wide receiver screen. Now that one, they are trying to get Boyd the ball.
When you have a playmaker like that, it's almost like you have a pitch count almost. You want to get him the ball so many times and make sure that you design plays for that.
So tightly bunched formation here for Pitt. Boyd on the left side. James Conner, the tailback, and they'll give it to Conner straight ahead running with a hole, knocking defenders down, and Conner's got a first down. Let's send it down to Allison Williams.
Pittsburgh has a very experienced offensive line, but coaches weren't happy with the way they didn't establish anything on that opening drive. They need to do a better job of enforcing their will and picking up the second-level defenders. They have to do a better job against the linebackers. Yeah,
they better watch out for number 30, Mike Strezak. He had the big hit on James Conner and the pressure on Chad Wojtek as well.
Number 74, Matt Rothram. Number 57, Artie Rao, the center. Two of the leaders on that line. Conner gets another carry, picking his way forward. Conner into the open field, and the cutback gets into BC territory across the 45 down to the 44, 19 yards.
Paul Christ has got to like what he saw right there. Running the power. See the guard and the tight end coming around. Both these teams both run that play. But that was some nice separation at the line of scrimmage, some holes created for James Conner to run through, and man, when he gets to that second and third level, he'll deliver some punishment.
You saw the good block, number 82, Manessa Garner, the wide receiver. Their wide receivers like to block. Wojtek rolling right, just kind of threw that one away in the neighborhood of J.P. Holtz, incomplete.
Yeah, well defended by BC. Wojtek, really nothing he could have done there, so wisely just threw it away.
He may not be Tyler Murphy, but they do like his ability to use his legs, get out in the open field.
It's almost a prerequisite for the position nowadays. I mean, in college football, offenses are run. They want your quarterback to be mobile. That's why I would have no chance nowadays, Dave.
I don't know if I'd say that. Your arm can still carry you. A long look to Boyd and just a little bit overthrown. So the play action pass trying to hit Tyler Boyd deep. Incomplete.
Well, I thought Wojtek forced that one a little bit. When you've got a receiver like Tyler Boyd on your team who you know is a playmaker, as a young quarterback, that's the tendency, to try to just force that, jam it in there to him. There was a player open in the flat that he could have dumped it off to, and now you'd have a 3rd and 2 or 3 as opposed to this 3rd and 10.
Wojtek just 1 of 4 passing so far, and you saw Boyd a little winded. He won't be in on this play. Play clock down under 10 now, so the Panthers have to get to the line, and they got to hurry. Under 5, Wojtek in the shotgun. They get the snap off, and he's got some time. Well, no, and I think it was a timeout.
Yeah, Pitt.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Pittsburgh.
So Pitt will talk about this 3rd and 10 play, and we'll be right back.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery and in part by the all-new Volkswagen Golf. Ready, set, golf.
Cannons firing over in Boston Harbor, the USS Constitution. Great piece of history in this wonderful city. 7-3 Boston College over Pitt. And a big third down for the Panthers here in the first quarter with BC leading 7-3. Out of the timeout, Chad Wojtek in the shotgun. Tyler Boyd is in the game after the timeout. Wojtek pressured, heaves one up, and he's got his man caught. And then breaking free of the tackle, it's Manessa Garner for the big first down. It'll be first and goal.
Boy, impressive by Chad Wojtek. He got drilled right as he let go of the ball. I think there's going to be a roughing the passer here. But again, we saw it the last third down. He tried to hang in there.
Holding, offense number 86. 10-yard penalty, third down.
Wow.
Man, I thought they might have got called with a late hit, but the hit was pretty clean. We'll see. Off the 93, coming right at him, just beats the tackle. That's pretty clean.
Well, the flag dropped right in that area where you
That's why I thought it was going to be.
And what a big penalty. That negates the huge gain. A 33-yard play wiped out, move them 10 yards backward.
There is nothing worse as a quarterback than to take a hit like that, get a big play, and then it gets called back for holding.
The tight end, J.P. Holtz, was called for the penalty. 3 wideouts, Connor in the backfield on 3rd and 20. Wojtek buying some time and a little screen to the tight end, read beautifully. Malachi Moore leads away with the tackle for Boston College, and it sets up 4th down. Pitt's going to punt.
Pretty smart play call there from Pitt. A little bit conservative, but a 3rd and forever. Why risk it with a young, inexperienced quarterback taking a shot down the field? You punt it away and try to play a little field position football.
Ryan Winslow, redshirt freshman punter. There's Bryce Jones back deep to receive. Pitt will try to play the field position game. Kind of a low punt, though. Jones will let it bounce, and it takes a very friendly Pitt bounce inside the 5. And did they save it in? I think they did. Well, that's good punt coverage for the Panthers. BC will start inside their own 5-yard line when we come back. And when we do come back, we're going to talk college football playoff next.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams back here. Boston College at home with the ball for the second time. Tyler Murphy with BC leading 7-3. Hands off, straight ahead run, and a good run. A nice gain on first down. Well, college football playoff committee already started to think about it. How about who's in? Danny and I, after week 1, we made our picks. What do you think?
Well, I think I was trying to remind myself, don't overreact to what I saw. And I think from your list, I think there's a little bit of overreaction there. No offense. But I think you went all in with Texas A&M. That was impressive. Thursday night opener, national stage. They played exceptionally well. The thing that impressed me with A&M was their defense. As everybody was talking about their offense, but their defense made some strides. And then for me, Georgia really made a statement against a quality opponent. And I already had them going into the season. I picked them to win the SEC. So I kind of felt reaffirmed from what I saw all offseason. And then Oregon, Michigan State. I wanted them in my top 4 because of the implications it has this weekend. Because this will be the last time we'll probably be able to see them in there.
By the way, Anthony Gonzalez, linebacker for Pitt, was down. He walked off the field. He's got his helmet back on. So that's good news. I think Gonzalez should be fine. He's one of the leaders on that defense. Second down and 7 coming up. And another handoff. Straight ahead running and breaking tackles Tyler Rouse out across the 10. Well, look, I freely admit that I did overreact. I reacted very strongly to week 1, and if we're going to do this every week, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to react to the pure results. I thought the best performance, the best win of anybody in week 1 was Texas A&M on the road. It'll change. This week will change it. Oregon, Michigan State, the winner of that game next week is likely to be in my top 4.
I agree with you. And if the winner of that game might even be number 1. Depends on how the game shakes out. LSU, I was a little surprised you had them in there as well.
I thought it was an impressive win. Nice, powerful third down run, pushing across the 15. They needed 3. They got 4, maybe 4.5, and BC moves the chains.
I'm impressed early with the way BC, with this veteran-laden offensive line, 5 graduates, 5th-year guys, setting the tone, creating some space for the backs to run through. They are controlling the line of scrimmage right now.
Gonzalez back in the game, by the way, at linebacker for Pitt. Tyler Murphy getting to the line, the quarterback. Changes the call. Talent in the receiver in motion. Handoff left side running. And a good ankle tackle for Pittsburgh. Miles Willis with the short gain.
This is something you don't see a whole lot. I mean, this is impressive. You look at all 5 offensive linemen have graduated. They've all been around. 89 career starts between them. It is one impressive group, and that is a luxury you don't see on a lot of teams around the country.
And you have a transfer in Silberman. You have a guy who's really experienced, who's injured and out in Harris Williams. But offensive line with age, with strength, with experience, that's a foundation for a good offense. Almost a pistol look, but now the running back shifts next to Murphy, who does hand it off to Miles Willis. Another short gain to set up 3rd and long. Todd Thomas, number 8, with the tackle. Now the Eagles, true to form. BC has run 9 plays. 8 of them have been running plays.
And this is the tricky down and distance when you're dealing with Tyler Murphy at the quarterback position, especially if you play man on the outside.
This is the big question with him. Can he convert on these kind of downs? He's pressured, he's hit and dropped with a penalty flag thrown. Bam Bradley, nice pressure. And we'll see what the penalty is, but the sack for the Pitt defense.
Holding, offense number 75. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Boy, and Pitt brought the house that time. And Tyler Murphy, you can see from his vantage point, there was nowhere to go. He was completely swarmed. Nicely done from Pitt.
Now the power rush from Nicholas Grigsby. He just bowled over the right tackle, and that prompted the holding call. And then from the other side, Bradley with the play. So the Pitt defense holds 4th down and not good field position. So a little pressure on Alex Howell, the punter for BC. And it is Tyler Boyd back to return the punt, the big playmaker for the Panthers. booming high putt sends Boyd way back and moving backwards even after the catch. But he gets a chance to survey, and now out into the open. Cuts it upfield and tripped up across the 35. So a huge putt, 61 yards. And then a pretty good return by Tyler Boyd as Pitt's offense comes back on the field.
That was big. I don't know if you remember, Dave, but the previous possession, the punt, the returner could not field it, went all the way down inside the 4-yard line. That time, if Boyd doesn't catch that, that ball may roll them back in their own territory. That was a pretty, I mean, he had to go back, caught that on the run. That was impressive from Tyler Boyd and definitely saved them some valuable field position.
I do remember. You got the field turf here. That is a factor on these kicks. The ball starts to bounce. It can bounce a long way. So Chad Wojtek, sophomore quarterback under center. The play fake with time. Looking deep. Boyd out there, underthrown and incomplete, almost intercepted. Manny Esprilla with the coverage.
See, that's another one. That's maybe the second or third time that Wojtek has really locked in on Tyler Boyd and just made up his mind. Now, it could be coming from the coaches. It could be coming from the sideline saying, hey, he's our guy. We're going to take a shot. A nice route. And maybe if he puts that ball up the field a little bit more, he might have had him. But there comes a point when if it's not there, just hit your check down, get you in manageable situations.
So here's that tight bunch formation again. And Connors gets the carry, spinning through tacklers. What a powerful runner, James Conner. Finally knocked backwards, but forward progress out around the 44.
That was the power right there. The guard and tight end pulling. Something they've ran successfully a couple times. Pitt has so far. Those big boys on the move with some momentum can lay into those linebackers if they get there.
Third down at 5 for Pitt. Wojtek in the shotgun. Isaac Bennett, the senior, is on his right side as the running back. The throw intercepted at midfield. Stephen Daniels inside the 30 with the return. BC comes up with the turnover.
Chad Wojtek, watch his eyes, completely locked in on Tyler Boyd the entire time. And all Stephen Daniels was doing was dropping in a zone, looking at the quarterback, read it all the way, and stepping right in front of it. And that's got to be something that Pitt is going to have to stress to Chad Wojtek. Hey, he's a great receiver. If he's there, hit him. But if he's not, don't forget to go through your progressions.
23-yard return on top of it for Daniels. Now Murphy, the fake give, looking to pass, and he's got his man open, incomplete. That was a big gain waiting to happen, intended for Crimmins, but incomplete.
Well, you love that call, a play action pass right off the turnover. Try to get a piece of chunk yardage. That's something Steve Addazio had talked a lot about this week, was getting big chunk yardage, 20-plus plays, and that was an opportunity missed for BC.
Yeah, it was there. So Phillips and Crimmins to the left side. And another fake handoff, throw down the middle, and a little too much on it, intended for Josh Bordner. And that time, Tyler Murphy was very much pressured.
Yeah, he had a guy right in his face, right when he was trying to throw it.
And this will continue to be the question with Tyler Murphy, the Florida transfer, graduate student here at BC. He has won this job. They feel very comfortable with him. But we know he can scramble. We know he can run. Can he effectively run the pass game? 3rd and 10 after the interception. Murphy back to pass, pressure coming, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Good coverage out there, intended for Phillips.
That's what happens. I talked about the first play of that drive. They took the shot, but if you miss it, then you find yourself 2nd and 10. You miss another one. All of a sudden, you're 3 passes in a row. You get away from your identity a little bit if you're BC and you're looking at a long field goal.
Avonte Maddox, good coverage there. The true freshman playing early. Now, a 46-yard field goal. BC has 2 kickers. This is Alex Howell. He's also the punter. And BC uses Alex Howe
Time
when they
out.
have a longer field goal
Boston
try.
College.
BC didn't have enough players on the field, so they call timeout, field goal when we come back. Pitt defense has held for the moment, and they have forced a long field goal try. Again, Alex Howe, who handles the long attempts. This is a 46-yard try for the senior, who's 6'5". He's a big kicker. From that right hash, the quarterback Murphy, the holder, and the kick on the way. A lot of leg, but way wide right, no good.
The snap was just a little bit off. Tyler Murphy did a good job getting it down for the kicker, but a lot of times kickers, very sensitive, football players, they have to see things clean. But watch the snap. It kind of handcuffs Murphy a little bit, who does a good job getting it down and the laces around. Sometimes if that timing is off just a split second, it throws them off.
Well, the snapper is Leonard Skubal. Paul Christ was pleased. His defense came up with some big plays. We saw the snap on the extra point was not a very good one for BC, so that's something to keep our eyes on as this game goes on. They've had two different snaps that have not been perfect. So Pitt gets the ball back. Wojcik, after the interception, hands it off. James Conner cut back left, and with a lot of room along the sideline, finally forced out of bounds near midfield across the 45 to the 46.
Beautiful job. Great vision by James Conner. Watch him. The play is designed to go to the right. Right there, that step and plant back. The cutback lane is there, and then the speed takes over. Great vision from James Conner.
Now, this guy is a good running back. Just a sophomore. He is 250 pounds.
He doesn't run like it.
Had 4 touchdowns in their opening week win, and he's knocking defenders back here. More power running for a gain of 9. Let's check in again with Allison Williams.
BC's defense came up with that interception last time on the field, but when they came to the sidelines, it was not all high fives. In fact, defensive coordinator Don Brown not real happy for some guys being out of position. He said, you have to be loud and know what you're doing, communicate. We must be on the same page.
Well, he and Steve Adazio, the head coach, sort of share that same demeanor, mentality. Very fiery guys, keeping the ball on the ground. This time the true freshman Chris James, they like him a lot, and he gets the first down, a gain of 4. There is Chris James, had 2 touchdowns in his college debut last week in the blowout win against Delaware.
Remember, I was talking earlier about BC's offensive line setting the tone. Now Pitt's getting after it a little bit up front. Starting to get in the flow of the game.
Final seconds of this first quarter. Hand off, and it's James again getting to that corner, and he delivers a blow as he goes out of bounds. Enough for a first down.
But Chris James running that stretch play can get to the edge, and man, he's got some wheels to be able to turn it up.
I think he can be a real good one. Pitt's got a great tradition going back to Tony Dorsett and even farther of running back talent. They got a stable here again for Paul Christ. It's Friday Night Football here from Boston College. 7-3 Eagles. You're watching the ACC on ESPN from Chestnut Hill Alumni Stadium, BC, after quarter number 1. With a lot of those kids, probably freshmen, in their first ever home football game, enjoying the college experience. BC leading Pitt 7-3, but the Panthers have the ball into Eagles territory. 1st and 10, and a handoff. James Conner breaking another tackle, a stiff arm, and then a big hit right at the 25-yard line. And Conner did not bear the brunt of that one.
No, you talked about him being 250 pounds. Watch this hit at the end of this run. Watch him deliver the forearm shiver. And that'll amp up your offensive line. That's really contagious. I mean, your offensive line, they start sensing that, and they start blocking harder for you up front. They love that stuff.
Manny Espria, the defensive back there, he took the wrong end of that blow from Conner, who's still in the backfield all alone. They'll give it to him once again, straight ahead running, and a nifty cut up the middle. And look at him drag tacklers down to the 15. Another Pitt first down, 11-yard gain.
Well, this is the type of game, if you're on the defensive side of the ball, you better buckle up your chin strap, because you know what's coming. Both teams trying to establish the run. I mean, the first quarter, we only had 9 passing yards between the two teams. I mean, there was virtually no passing game. So you know what you're getting. You just got to be ready to get up in there, get your nose on the ball.
Well, look at those passing numbers. We have had 11 combined first downs. The teams are moving the ball. They're just doing it sort of the old-fashioned way. Not this time. BC swarms James Conner.
And it'll set up. There'll be opportunities. BC missed one the last drive, but the more you start running the football, those safeties, linebackers, they get antsy. They want to get up there and make a tackle. And you'll get your opportunity to go over the top of the play-action pass.
Well, this is a Pitt team. The experts were leaning fairly heavily toward Pitt as this game got started. And Pitt was very impressive in week 1. BC so far holding up well at home with the 7-3 lead. Just into the second quarter. High formation and the play fake. Wojtek rolling right, and a throw not close. Intended again for Tyler Boyd.
John Johnson, number 43 for BC. That's exceptional coverage on the outside. With a pocket outside the pocket, you have to stay on your guy that much longer, and that's exactly what he did.
Boyd only 1 catch for 4 yards in this one so far. This is a big third down in field goal territory. The Pitt already had to settle for 3 once in this game. Wojtek in the pocket, pressured, throws, and it is caught. Touchdown! And there's Tyler Boyd with the defense all over him. What a play. Hard to cover better than that. Justin Simmons, the safety, was there, but Tyler Boyd just too good.
Remember I talked about Chad Wojtek forcing it to his guy? Even though Boyd had a guy draped all over him, if you put that ball where only he can get it, and that's exactly what Wojtek did, he's the type of guy who will just go up and snatch it.
So the extra point, they were taking a look just to confirm, and it is a touchdown. Chris Blewett will attempt the extra point here. Brian Winslow, the punter, is the holder. It's good. So Pitt's got the 10-7 lead here early in quarter number 2.
Tyler Boyd, we told you at the top of the show, he could be the next Larry Fitzgerald. He keeps making plays like this. People are going to start noticing. What a catch, Tyler Boyd.
ESPN brings you college football primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Two great coaches have been around a long time. Frank Beamer's Hokies, Urban Meyer's 8th-ranked Buckeyes. Virginia Tech at Ohio State Saturday, tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPN. And we talked about that one at the outset. A big game in terms of those implications with the committee watching even early in the season. Those marquee non-conference games mean so much. This is a huge weekend for the Big Ten in general.
Huge. And Ohio State needs to bounce back. They had a tough game against Navy. J.T. Barrett got settled in, though, played a nice second half, but defensively they struggled against a tough Navy, option attack that's really tough to shut down. So they'll need a bounce back week.
Chris blew it, and Miles Willis in the end zone will bring it out. Across the 10 to the 15, and couldn't quite stay on balance. So down there, BC has the ball. How about a key matchup, Danny, from that game?
I love watching the passing game. How about Kendall Fuller, defensive back? Virginia Tech has had a slew of defensive backs come out of Blacksburg, and he's going to be faced against Devin Smith. He caught a touchdown pass last week. J.T. Barrett really started to develop a rapport with him. That's a matchup I'm going to be watching throughout that game.
Yeah, real challenge for the inexperienced quarterback against a good, talented Hokies defense.
And Virginia Tech, one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, and Bud Foster, he'll have a game plan specifically for the young quarterback.
Out of the pistol, the handoff to John Hilleman, the freshman running back. How about a little bit more on that matchup with Allison Williams?
Well, it's not just an experience at the quarterback position that's a concern for Ohio State. Also, their offensive line. Holly Rowe told me that Urban Meyer said this will be a test now about his young offensive line handling the pressure of that Virginia Tech defensive front. There are 4 new starters on that offensive line. That's the biggest concern for him going into this game.
Hilleman, the freshman, gets the ball again. This time, not much room, out to the 30.
I was at Columbus a few weeks ago before the start of the season, and Urban Meyer said the exact same thing. And I think they need to figure that out. That offensive line, maybe one of the best in the country last year. 4 of those guys moved on to the NFL, still figuring up. They've been mixing and matching guys up front. They have got to play better, and that's where championship teams are made, in the trenches. You've got to have a solid core up front.
So BC on 3rd and short. Tyler Murphy, plenty of time on that play clock, brought his man in motion, but that is a penalty.
False start, offense number 81, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Coach / dad is not going to be happy. That's Louis Adazio, the senior and the son of the head coach Steve Adazio.
And that's a killer penalty too. You can see the frustration on Coach Adazio's face, probably harder on his own kid than anybody else. But a 3rd and 2, very manageable, to a 3rd and 7. Your percentages go way down. You back them up. Just that 5 yards makes a big difference.
And particularly with this quarterback, Tyler Murphy, tested again, but first, before the 3rd down play,
Boston College.
So we'll take a timeout ourselves and come back to Alumni Stadium. 10-7 Pitt leading BC. Friday night here at Boston College, where the Eagles at home trail Pitt 10-7, second quarter action. And out of the timeout, BC has a big third down. A penalty makes it 3rd and 7. First 3 plays, very quick start for the Eagles, 66 yards, and most of those from Tyler Murphy scrambling. Since then, only 16 yards. So the BC offense has slowed up a lot. Josh Bordner, big receiver, in motion. And he's a blocker, but pressured. Murphy gets it to Bordner, who is gang tackled across the 25 and well short of a first down. We're going to see another BC punt. Anthony Gonzalez with the tackle. And the Pitt defense starting to play better after some shaky moments early. So it is Tyler Boyd deep to receive with the punter Alex Howell. Had a long punt earlier in this game with a big bounce. This time much lower. And Boyd will signal fair catch and make it around the 34-yard line. Let's send it back to the studio. Check in with Chris Cotter.
Dave, it's time for the Dr. Pepper Conference Update. Let's go out to the Pac-12. Last night, Arizona playing UT San Antonio, one of the better teams in Conference USA. Close game last night, but Nick Wilson had a huge night, 174 yards rushing, sealed it with a pick here. Arizona did, and they went on to win 26-23. Back to Dave and Danny at Boston, guys.
All right, Chris, thanks. Yeah, that was impressive. UT San Antonio. The Pac-12, they've gotten tested early in the year, expected to be a very powerful conference. This a matchup in the ACC, Pitt and Boston College on this Friday night. Very summer-like. It's hot. Wojcik hands off. James Conner having a huge first half, breaking more tackles across midfield and still going inside the 45.
James Conner starting to feel it a little bit. The big fellas up front starting to work well together. And watch, for 250 pounds, watch that little burst right there. Really hits it upfield. Has a nice knack for finding that hole. And then the burst there, you just don't see that a lot from a guy with his physical size.
Already, with still 10 minutes to go on the first half, over 100 yards. He's at 115. And the 6th time the sophomore has done that. In his young Pitt career, he gets another carry here and more power running from James Conner.
Well, bad news for BC. We talked to their defensive coordinator, Don Brown, and he said in order for us to win, or to, our goal is to hold James Conner to 3.3 yards per carry and under 100 yards, and he's already there, and it's it's not even deep into the second quarter. They're going to have to make some adjustments, get some more guys involved. And I know they'll be more susceptible in the pass game, but right now, James Conner's having his way.
Almost 9.5 yards per rush for Conner so far, who's all alone in the backfield on 2nd and 3. And he'll get the ball again, picking his way forward. A stiff arm, lunging to try to get to that first down mark. Justin Simmons, the safety, was there. Well short of the first down, so it's 3rd down coming up. Tight end in motion. Conner, handoff straight ahead. He's got it. He is tough to stop in those situations.
Boy, James Conner has been special. 6'2", 250 pounds. I mean, look at the agility for a guy at that size. Be able to bounce it out just a little bit, and then the power. I mean, he is delivering blows at the end of his runs. I mean, look at him stiff-arming guys. Getting to the edge, showcasing the speed, and just delivering blows to defenders. I mean, he didn't even go down on that run. Stands over a defensive back. That can get demoralizing after a while.
Now the true freshman, Chris James, tripped up in the backfield. So good play there for BC's defense. Abdesmad with the tackle. D. Abdesmad. Well, there is Conner. He'll get a breather. Already 130 yards rushing. Panthers lineman is down and hurting. Artie Rao, the center. That Pitt offensive line has done some very nice work in this half. Gabe Roberts practicing the snap with Wojtek, and he's going to come in the game and play center now for the Panthers. Looks like the left leg, knee is what they're looking at with the junior Artie Rao. From Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Now his fists clench. He is obviously in some pain.
Yeah, his reaction, he kind of, I don't know if he landed wrong on his foot and he just immediately went down in pain. But that is a tough position to replace. And the center oftentimes make a lot of the calls, communicates up front for the offensive lineman.
He was trying to see if he could put any weight on it, and he cannot.
Here he is right there, 57. And you see him, he's just nothing noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just buckled, almost like his leg buckled underneath him.
You can see that little buckle, and he is in a lot of pain. So they've lost their center. We'll see if that impacts this ground game. The pass out to Boyd. It slips one tackler inside the 25 and diving forward. Short of the first down, but he made something out of not much. 6-yard play to the sophomore Tyler Boyd.
This is where it's tricky for Boston College. They like to blitz in this situation, but when you do bring pressure, then you put your secondary on an island and you're facing a receiver like Tyler Boyd. Can really put a lot of stress on that secondary. Yes, sir.
So Connor back in the game now. There's Boyd. They will fake it to Connor, and Wojtek, a design run. And Wojtek has the first down, but a penalty flag comes in fairly late, and that may have been a hold against the receiver, Garner. Manny Espria there trying to make a play.
Holding, offense number 82. 10-yard penalty, third down.
He is a very good blocking wide receiver, but that time took it a little too far.
Right in front of your screen right there. So get some of that jersey on Manny Espria.
And that's going to be a giveaway for the officials.
Yeah, anytime they see some of that cloth.
So instead of first down, it's third down, and the ball back to the 24-yard line. Third and about 6, but before the play, Paul Chryst wants a timeout.
Timeout, Pittsburgh.
So timeout, Panthers. We'll step aside ourselves. Pitt leading 10-7.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by America's Navy and the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited double miles with no blackout dates.
Well, we do appreciate Professor Jerry Kane teaching social media here on campus for letting us take a peek in first week of classes here in Chestnut Hill. So the students are back. Football's back. 3rd and 6. Wojtek hit, and he's got the pass complete, but a good tackle out of the open field. Bennett with the catch, but Kevin Kavalik with the tackle to save the first down.
Boy, Chad Wojtek got that out just in time. Pressure from his backside. That's Josh Keyes breathing down his neck. Almost had a chance to strip that ball. He gets the passer pretty quick. Not quick enough on that one, though.
So 42-yard try here for Chris Blewett, who already kicked one in from 49 in the first quarter. Kick on the way, and another good one. Impressive. Chris Blewett has been outstanding here. And another 3 points for Paul Christ and the Panthers. 13-7 Pitt leads in the second quarter.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams here at BC, where the students are back in class, enjoying their first football game of the year. BC got off to a quick start, but look at those numbers. The Pitt Panthers have started to control the ball, control the clock, and Danny, they're doing it on the ground. James Conner has been really impressive, and a booming kickoff out of the end zone. It'll be a touchback. How about our Friday focus and the gang spending all day today getting ready for game day tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern from Eugene, Oregon. A lot of hard work goes into the show. They were working hard, but yeah, they were having a little fun too.
Herbie having a little fun. Sam, I caught her and David on College Football Live today. I also heard Lee Fitting, the coordinating producer, he was complaining about the heat. It's hot out there. It'll be up around 90 degrees at game time, which is a little unusual.
I heard 95 degrees tomorrow in Eugene, Oregon. There's a handoff and swarmed Miles Willis, tackled behind the line of scrimmage on first down. Friday focus. How about in the SEC? It'll be hot in Nashville. You know that. And our guys, including BC alum Joe Tessitore, getting ready for the show. Ole Miss and Vandy.
Brock Heward on the call. Guy on the right. Is that a new guy? New announcer for us?
I think his first name is Tim.
Oh, that's right. Tim
wait.
Tebow doing a great job on SEC Nation.
Waiting to really just get to know him.
Yeah.
So second down and 12, and this BC offense has just stalled. Great opening drive into the end zone. Since then, almost nothing. The fly sweep out into the open, and a good gain for Sherman Alston, the true freshman, who is 5'6", 160 pounds, but he can move.
He's quick, and that's what they wanted to do, get him the ball and get him to that edge. Got the corner and turned it upfield, and this is a critical drive for BC. They haven't done anything offensively since that opening drive. They need to answer Pitt, because Pitt is taking control of this game.
Well, the BC defense has got to be tired already, the way the Panthers have held the ball. Handoff, straight ahead running, and not quite to the 40, out near the 39 for John Hilleman, the true freshman. They got 3 freshman running backs here that they think could be really good players. And John Hilleman might be the biggest one of them from Plainfield, New Jersey, 215 pounds.
Yeah, they got 5 running backs who are all going to carry the ball at some point or another. I'm sure they'd love for one to emerge as the guy.
But so far, there's no Andre Williams this year, and there aren't many like him. Murphy pressured and dancing around to buy some time. He's going to throw the ball away.
In Pitt, apart from that opening drive, when they kind of lost contained a couple times on Tyler Murphy, has pretty much corralled Tyler. They kept him in the pocket. Even when he scrambled, they've kept contained. They've been very aware of him as a runner.
And through the air, 2 of 6, 4 yards passing. Getting close to halftime. So that's going to have to improve for the Eagles. 3rd and 7. Murphy all alone in the backfield in that shotgun. He's going to throw, and he's got his man caught. It's going to depend on the spot.
I think he's short.
Well, that spot just short, maybe. Right of that yellow line. Charlie Callanan with the catch. I mean, the initial indication, I thought they were moving it up a little farther. They're going to stop the clock and take a measurement.
Well, we talked about the critical nature of this drive. How big does this down in this play seem to be for Boston College?
Well, they're going to be short by a half a yard less. Does BC even think about going for it here?
Oh yeah, they're bringing in the big bodies. See, the spot was right there. I mean, it's once he hit the ground, he rolled forward a little bit, but he's definitely short. I thought he was short when he caught it from the get-go.
He did a pretty good job of just catching that ball. It was rattling around, and he cradled it.
And this down right here, this is Steve Adazio putting this on his offensive line with all those graduates, all those veterans, giving them a chance. Watch the quarterback sneak, though.
Well, whistle blows.
I think Pitt.
And Pitt may want the officials to look at that last catch and see if it really was a catch.
The previous play is under review.
So I could not tell if Paul Christ, as a coach, if you want to challenge a play and ask for a review, you have to use a timeout. And then if you're right, you don't get charged a timeout. But that's how you initiate a review if you want to do it as a coach. So our head referee, Dennis Hennigan, over with the headset on, talking with the review officials, and they'll see if this is a legitimate catch.
He had it.
Yeah.
He had it between his legs, and I think he kept it off the ground the whole way and corralled it in for the catch.
I do too. Charlie Callanan, the red shirt freshman.
Yeah, I never saw any part of the ball hit the ground. Thought he had control of it. And I think they got the spot right. See, between his legs, and just corrals it between his legs and keeps it off the ground.
Ooh, and that left hand got down there too, just to make sure. Didn't hit the turf, but I would be surprised if they changed the call.
I was surprised, though, in the first quarter that the touchdown didn't stand either, though.
Me too. So if the ruling stands, then it's going to be 4th down and a very short distance, less than a half a yard. You can see why Paul Chryst, I mean, it's a big sequence here. Steve Adazio has decided to go for it, even though the ball's in his own territory. We're still only in the first half, 4:04 to go until halftime.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
Yeah, and this, I talked about it when they were taking the field. This is an opportunity for BC to kind of make a statement, and same for Paul Chryst and Pitt to step up defensively and get the ball back, because they will have outstanding field position. But this is one of those plays where I think BC is going to hustle up to the line of scrimmage, and my guess would be a quarterback sneak. You're right there. It's only a few inches.
So here we go. Murphy sneaks it, and he definitely got it. With room to spare, Tyler Murphy pushing the pile forward, and a good decision, I think, by BC and Steve Adazio to go for it.
Looks great now, doesn't it? After you get it. But yeah, it was an opportunity, and now they keep it going. They have to give their defense a rest too. I mean, that's another big reason.
And by the way, just to confirm, it was not a challenge from Paul Chryst. The officials wanted to look at that, so they're the ones who stopped action. So no timeout for Pitt. It's 1st down and a pistol type formation, but Miles Willis moves to the side of Murphy, who fakes the give, looking deep middle, and the pass is caught. Shaquem Phillips, good delivery and a beautiful catch.
Well, they've been trying to run the ball. BC has, so they stuck it in the back. The play action right there. And a nice read. You saw Murphy survey the left side of the field, wasn't there, and then delivers a bullet. That ball was really well thrown to Shaquem Phillips over the middle, who hung on and taken the hit. It's an impressive play.
Well, you can see why they want to get him the ball. He was a good player for UConn. He's transferred here to BC. 25 yards, biggest play by far through the air. Now the fake. Murphy keeping it right edge and nowhere to go. Pushed backwards all the way back to the 30. And knocked to the ground. Tyler Murphy lost yardage. Terrace Webb, good play from his safety spot. Eight-play drive. This will be number 9. Clock continues to roll. Both offenses very deliberate, run-oriented offenses. BC at home trailing by 6. 2.5 to go until halftime. This time the give straight ahead and read well by the Panthers. Tyler Rouse, short gain, 3rd down and long.
3rd down and long, right on the edge of that field goal range. So let's see if Pitt might try to bring pressure, try to knock them out of field goal range. And I think, too, if you're Tyler Murphy, you have to remember, hey, you don't have to force it to get a 1st down. Let's try to make sure we get some yardage, make it a more manageable field goal attempt.
So 3rd and 12 here. Tyler Murphy from the shotgun. And the whistle blows. That's a flag. That is likely against BC. We'll see.
False start. Offense number 18. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Boy, and that is a tough penalty, because we just mentioned the field goal range. Now you bump it back.
Right on the edge of the.
That's a long field goal attempt.
The back end of their field goal range with their long kicker, Alex Howell. So Dan Crimmins with the penalty. It's 3rd and 17. 5 receivers for BC. Murphy is going to throw, and it's knocked down, batted down nicely. Darrell Render in the middle. Got a big paw up there and swatted it down. So 4th and 17. was a good play.
Yeah. This field goal is directly into a stiff breeze right now for Alex Howell.
And they're not going to kick a field goal. They're going to punt the ball.
Well, I think that's why. I mean, the wind is absolutely gusting right in their face. They're going to try to pin Pitt back.
Pittsburgh.
So Pitt uses a timeout. 13-7 Panthers lead. Well, back here at BC, and the Eagles decide to punt on 4th and 17, and they punt it into the end zone for a touchback. Alex Howell, maybe talking about the wind up there. I don't know. That was a net of 14 yards. So you punt it into the end zone there, Danny. You might as well just go for it on 4th and long.
To his credit, he almost pinned him down. Hit about a half yard in the end zone before it came out. I'm with you. It'll be interesting to see what Pitt does here. I mean, they've been firmly in control of this game. Got a young quarterback. A minute 15 left. I'd be surprised if they try to put the ball in the air at all. They might be perfectly content going to the halftime with this lead.
Well, James Conner has been the star of the first half. He's the tailback. Boyd in motion. They're going to give it to Boyd around the right side, and Boyd out into the open and then dragged down. That could be a horse collar, and here comes the flag. So that would change things. Boyd is a little shaken up, and Pitt does not want to see that. Their star wide receiver dragged down.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 34, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that tackle, and watch the body. Watch what happens to Tyler Boyd's legs as he gets wrapped up, and that was nasty. And that's exactly why that foul is called, because that's what can happen. And Sean Duggan has to let go in that situation. I mean, that penalty is specifically to protect the players.
Boyd popped up, but he's a little shaken up. 19-yard gain and then a 15-yard penalty. So Pitt in one play with still a minute 8 to go is into BC territory, and before the ball is snapped, whistles.
Well, a lot of times.
Timeout, Boston College.
So timeout, Boston College.
A lot of times what happens, they'll call a conservative run play or a speed sweep. If it hits it big, then you change your game plan. Then you start going, hey, 2-minute drill.
Let's check in once again in the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, Dave, coming up at the half, Mark May will join me. We'll talk about all the big games this weekend, including the biggest one, Michigan State out in Eugene taking on Oregon. Urban Meyer joins us as well. He's got a big game Saturday night on ESPN. Virginia Tech in town. We'll make some picks. Our friend Phil Steele will join us to talk a little about that coming up at the half. Dave?
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll look forward to that. Meanwhile, the Panthers, this situation has changed here. Pitt playing on the road, first ACC game for both sides. And after a start where BC was in control in the first few minutes, Pitt has really played well. And now with a long game plus a penalty, 1:08 to go, the Panthers have the ball into BC territory and a chance to get points before the half. And Boyd back in the game.
And he's the type of guy, we saw his touchdown catch earlier. You can just put it in his vicinity. Even if he's covered, he'll go up and get it.
So 1st and 10. There is Boyd. Conner in the backfield. Boyd comes in motion. This time, no handoff. Wojcik running away, and he will throw it away.
Where they were trying to get the screen to James Conner, and he just got caught up in a lot of bodies. And Wojcik, that is a scary place to be when you're trying to find that back, and he's nowhere to be found. And you got defensive linemen breathing down your neck because your offensive line released.
Well, the key there, with no receiver anywhere close, you have to be outside the tackle box. He clearly was. You also have to get it back to the line of scrimmage. That was pretty close, but they say he did. So it's 2nd and 10. Still 1:01 to go in the first half. And a little sprint design run for Wojtek, who picks his way forward and then is out of bounds right near the first down mark. That, for the moment, stops the clock. Well, this is the play we were talking about before, and it is a first down. Did he get the ball back to the line of scrimmage? Ooh, close.
And it's at or near the line of scrimmage.
So it doesn't have to be exact. That was close enough. First down. Wojtek throws, and he's got the tight end caught. Fighting his way, trying to get that first down. He did not get there, so the clock rolls. J.P. Holtz. And Pitt's got to hustle here.
They're already in field goal range, too.
They got an excellent kicker who's having a good game, Chris Blewett. So from the shotgun, Wojtek takes that snap under 30 seconds. Left sideline, and beautifully delivered right there. Vanessa Garner with the catch at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Pitt, with 24 seconds left.
Boy, Wojtek on a couple of these deep balls has really put the football exactly where you want to, where your receiver can get it or nobody else. A couple of these fade routes. He hit the touchdown to Boyd, and this throw to Garner just right on the money. Nice touch.
And clearly that left foot was in. So with no timeouts, Pitt has to be careful here. 24 seconds from the shotgun. Wojtek, a little pump fake, throws, and he's got his man caught. Another touchdown for Tyler Boyd, his 2nd of the game. And what a drive for Pitt with less than 2 minutes to go until halftime, all the way down the field for the touchdown. Six plays, 80 yards, a penalty, and a couple big plays in the passing game were huge. So now Chris Blewett again for the extra point try, up and good. So 20-7, Pitt leads, just 18 seconds to go until halftime. We'll be right back. Well, what a turn in this game. It was 13-7. Pitt got the ball at the 20, goes 80 yards in less than a minute, and the 2nd touchdown to Tyler Boyd.
Watch Chad Wojtek as he's surveying the field. He's thinking about hitting the flare route out there. That brings the whole defense that direction, and then he comes back all the way inside and finds Boyd over the middle. And you saw those defenders. They all went with his eyes. And he's able to get Boyd on the backside, and that was an impressive drive. 1:15 they got the ball with. All started with that first run that popped big, and they were able to drive it to length. It's impressive.
A little emotion from Paul Christ.
Yeah.
Doesn't show a lot of it typically on the sideline. That kickoff through the end zone and a touchback. Well, Monday Night Football back with a Week 1 doubleheader. First, Giants-Lions in Detroit, 7:10 Eastern Time. And then the second game, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers against the Pitt alum, Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals, 10:20 Eastern on Monday. Monday Night Football starting at right around 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Well, I hope that Giants offense, it's a new look, new coordinator. I hope it looks a little bit better than it did during the preseason.
Hey, your Giants struggled in the preseason, that's for sure. Well, Tyler Murphy takes a knee. That was a damaging end of the half for the Eagles, who've got to regroup as they go back into the locker room. And a really nice job by Chad Wojtek and the Panthers offense.
He was impressive. Don't forget, he got hit a couple times right in the mouth early, but bounced back, hung in the pocket, and made some really nice throws.
So Allison Williams with the Pitt head coach down on the field.
Coach, your offense drove 80 yards for that final touchdown. How did the success you had earlier in the half all culminate on that drive?
I don't know if it correlates or not. It was certainly guys made some plays, and you appreciate that. That was a big stop our defense had after we turned the ball over and were able to keep them from no points. So we just got a lot of football left and got to keep playing. It's a good game.
What adjustments did you make defensively after BC's first possession to try and slow down that run?
You know, I thought we had some guys in position. You know, he ran through on the long run. He's a good player, and he broke a couple tackles, and then it was hard to catch up to. So I thought it was just kind of more execution. They made a play on it, and so we didn't make a ton of adjustments just because of that one play.
All right, Coach Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Allison. Paul Christ, happy. Good performance for the Panthers. Now we're going to send it back to the studio for our halftime report.
Thank you, Dave. Chris Cotter, along with proud Pitt alumnus Mark May. And I only wish Coach was here so you can gloat next to him. He's not, though. He's actually speaking to Notre Dame, getting them set for their big game this weekend. What do you think of Pitt, though, real quick?
James Conner's absolutely spectacular in the first half, but I love what they did in the 2-minute drill just before halftime. That shows me that they're moving in the right direction offensively.
Very impressive half for Pitt. A lot of big games this weekend, though. Let's kind of take a look at some of those that we might be keeping an eye on. And, of course, we're going to be looking at 3:30 on ABC tomorrow. Southern Cal on the farm taking on Stanford. USC won this game last year at home.
How about this? 105 plays last week against Fresno State, a Pac-12 record, over 700 yards of total offense for USC. They're moving in the right direction.
Stanford just took care of business. How about Michigan and Notre Dame? One final time for this rivalry, Mayday.
How about this Michigan offense? 350 yards on the ground. Bo Schembechler's up there smiling about this offense right now.
And they've got a huge mismatch with Devin Funchess. Played tight end last year. Now he's a receiver, and he's getting it done. Ohio State and Virginia Tech. Ohio State survived. They got the win against a tough Navy team in week one, but it's a different story with the Hokies.
Absolutely. With Bud Foster's defense, they're going to put a lot of pressure on quarterback J.T. Barrett, but I'm worried about the Buckeyes' run defense. 370 yards on the ground against Navy?
That's against Navy, though.
It's still 370
against everybody. And then the real big one here, Michigan State goes on the road in Eugene, taking on Oregon. First non-conference top 10 game meeting between top 10 teams in Autzen Stadium history, as hard as that is to believe. And Michigan State hasn't played a regular season game when they were top 10 against another top 10 team since 1966, the famous tie game between Notre Dame. So that's how big this game is for these two schools. When you look at this game, what are the keys here for either team to get the W?
Well, it all comes down to quarterbacks. And if you look at the quarterbacks on the field, Connor Cook's a good quarterback, but Marcus Mariota is a spectacular quarterback. Running this offense, the zone read, the way that he can run it, but passing the ball vertically. He's got so much confidence in his offensive line, a very veteran offensive line, and his receivers. When they can hit the seam, he'll look the safety off the middle, throw the ball to the right, and look at this. It's a touchdown, a perfect pass, perfect run right under the football, and then he relies on the speed of his skill position guys on the outside. When he runs the zone read, if the end crashes down and takes the ball carrier, guess what? He's keeping the football. And guess what? It's going to be positive yards for the Ducks right here. And at 6'4", 215 pounds, he runs a 4.4 40. He's a rare beast. You don't see that many quarterbacks. He could be playing in the NFL on Sundays right now. But Marcus Mariota is going to be the difference maker in this game. And if you look at Michigan State, they've seen a Braxton Miller. They've seen dual-threat quarterbacks. But they have yet to see a quarterback like this one.
Yeah, it should be a fun time out there in Eugene as well. And as we were hearing in the first half, the guys talk about it's going to be hot out there, too. And maybe in the 90s, that might have an impact as well. All right, still to come here on the halftime. We're going to talk about Ohio State. They've got a big one against Virginia Tech. And Urban Meyer joins us to talk about his team's preparation here after getting a win in week one. And he's also watching his daughter play a little volleyball tonight, trying to keep his mind off of things. Mayday in studio. Halftime in Chestnut Hill. Pittsburgh with a 20-7 lead over BC. Thanks in large part to Tyler Boyd. First of 2 touchdown grabs for him. Second half coming up a few minutes from now. DirecTV studio in Columbus, Ohio today, getting you set for the Buckeyes and Hokies. Virginia Tech in town, 8 o'clock on ESPN Saturday night. Very interesting at a conference game for both these two teams. Buckeyes head coach Urban Meyer joins us right now from the DirecTV studio. Urban, you're coming off a win in week 1 against Navy. What did you like about your team the most in that win?
Well, the best thing is there was a bunch of new players, new starters that fought off a little adversity. Obviously, we lost our quarterback 2 weeks prior, and I thought JT came in, did a good job. What really happened is our offensive line struggled early and then kind of solidified themselves and played much better in the second half. So we had to fight for a win, and that was good on all fronts.
You know, I always hear coaches say you improve the most from week 1 to week 2 of a season. Do you feel like you've improved that much this week, and what exactly did you work on during the week of practice?
Well, obviously, that's going to be determined tomorrow against a very good team, one of the better teams. I think Virginia Tech throughout the year is a top 10, top 15 program, and I think maybe they dropped off a bit, even though I haven't really studied them until this year. They're a top 5 defense in the country, and they're back to having the skilled athletes that, you know, I keep hearing everybody saying they were down on skill, but they're very skilled. Their quarterback transfer from Texas Tech is a very accurate passer, so this will be a great challenge for us.
What are the difficulties in transitioning from taking on a Navy in week 1 to taking on a more traditional, albeit up-tempo this year with Virginia Tech, but a more traditional offense?
Well, Navy posed its own problems getting ready for the game, and that's the first time as a head coach I faced a service academy and one that's very good in the Naval Academy. For the last 2.5 weeks, our focus has been nothing on the wishbone. So we installed a new pass defense in spring. The beginning of the training camp worked on it, but we're behind, and so we'll see how much we cut up. We feel good about going to the game, but I didn't realize neither did our coaching staff that you'd be that far behind just because we haven't worked on our traditional defense the last 2 weeks.
Coach, it's such a big weekend for the Big Ten when you look at a Michigan State going out to Eugene. You've got Michigan and Notre Dame as well. Do you allow yourself to kind of earlier in the week maybe look at what the possibilities might be this weekend for the conference, or are you just so focused on your team?
Well, we're focused on our team, but I get asked the question from last Sunday. I think it is big for the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is much improved. The 2-3 teams you mentioned, I think, are very talented teams, and they're all in tough arenas. You know, and so are we fighting for the Big Ten? You know, I don't know if we're at that point. We're cheering for the Big Ten, but we have our own issue to worry about, and that's trying to find our second win of the season at home.
Well, I know you're cheering for one of your daughters tonight, Gigi. She's got a volleyball game there in Columbus, Florida Gulf Coast, taking on Ohio State. What makes you more nervous, watching your football team or watching your daughters play volleyball?
Well, my son's got a football game tomorrow, and he's a captain of his freshman team, and she's a captain of her volleyball team. So I get a little nervous when I go watch them, but real proud of them, real excited. And Shelly was very instrumental in getting this game scheduled, so I'm glad I get to go watch her play a little bit.
Beautiful. Coach, we'll let you do that. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Coach Meyer watching the volleyball tonight. He's going to watch his team take on Virginia Tech tomorrow. When we come back, we're going to make some picks. Some of the big games. Tell you what to look out for. It's all coming up. Connor and Mayday, halftime. Coach Beamer, part of our Friday focus here on this evening. Looking for a return of Beamer ball. In Columbus, taking on Ohio State Saturday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Buckeyes celebrating 125 years of football and hoping to go 2-0 on the year. Make a statement for the Big Ten. Speaking of which, Michigan hoping to do the same. Boarding the buses in Ann Arbor, heading to South Bend, where they'll take on Notre Dame. And Coach Holtz delivering the speech.
Coach Holtz giving the pep talk. You know I'm picking Michigan.
Why? He says he's undefeated. Or is that Digger Phelps who's undefeated? We'll figure that one out. And Marcus Mariota, Oregon and Michigan State, the big one in Eugene. Who will have the edge? How about our edge here? Matt Schick and Phil Steele getting you set for a full day of football.
I'm Matt Schick. Let's welcome in the purveyor of PhilSteele.com, the author of the Phil Steele College Football Preview. His name is Phil Steele. All right, Phil, let's look ahead to week 2 of the college football season. Let's focus in on the 4 big games, beginning with Michigan State visiting Oregon. What do you see here?
It's the biggest game of the week, and really a huge game for both the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. I think whichever team loses, their conference might be left out of the playoffs. Should be a higher scoring game. I think you got to listen for that home field edge, though, at Autzen. I think it's going to be a factor. I see the Oregon Ducks winning, but it'll be a good one. I've got the Ducks winning that one 34-27. Now, in the second big matchup of the week, it's USC and Stanford, and really we're going to find out which one of these teams is a legitimate national title contender. Both teams have young offensive lines. USC's got 2 true frost starters. Stanford's only got 1 returning starter. I give USC a slight edge on the defensive line, and I think that could be the overall key here. I'm going to call for USC to win this game 24-23. Notre Dame and Michigan, a couple of teams that are off impressive opening day games. Now, Michigan's interior of the offensive line is the key to this game. They look great against Appalachian State at home, but they were a problem all last season, and now they're taking on a better defense on the road at night. I think these two teams are even. I would side with the home team no matter who is playing. Notre Dame's the home team at night. I'm going to go with the Irish to win this one 30-27. Finally, Ohio State's young offensive line and inexperienced quarterbacks are going to be in for a tough test here. Virginia Tech has Bud Foster as the defensive coordinator. They've got one of the most confusing defenses out there and the best secondary in the country. If Ohio State makes too many mistakes, they should be on upset alert here this week. But I'll call for Ohio State to come out with a close, tight, low-scoring win, 23-13.
All right, Phil, which games do you anticipate? Which of those games do you think we have the most likely upset?
I'm going to go, of the 4 games, the team that's got the strongest chance of the upset is going to be the USC Trojans. When I look at USC this year, they're starting 11 on offense, starting 11 in defense, compare with any team in the country. It's still young in the year where their depth is not going to be tested. I think they can go on the road and win this one.
Phil Steele of PhilSteele.com. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Well, you heard from Phil Steele. You heard his picks. What do you think, Mayday?
These are my picks, and I take your pick against Dr. Lou last year, so I'm going to go with Stanford at home. They've won 4 out of 5 against USC. How about Michigan beating up on Notre Dame? If you look what they were able to do, Devin Funchess moved from the tight end position to wide receiver position at 6'5", will make big plays. And I like the Ducks with Marcus Mariota. He's playing at home at Autzen Stadium, tough place to play. But the one you better watch, I'm calling for the upset. Not possibly, I'm calling for the upset. Virginia Tech over Ohio State. Michael Brewer will have a heck of a game for the Hokies.
Making friends as always in Columbus, Ohio. We'll be back with more. Connor, 130 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns from Tyler Boyd. 20-7, Pitt on top. Second half on the way.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And the first conference game for Pitt and BC here in Chestnut Hill from Alumni Stadium. And two teams that both have a thought about being real factors in the ACC this year. And so far, the visitors, the Panthers, controlling things 20-7 to score. As we get started here in the third quarter, Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams back with you. The good news for the Eagles, they do get the ball here first, trailing by 13 at home. And Miles Willis back into the end zone, watches it go over his head and through the end zone for a touchback. Well, Danny, I mean, BC, they had that first drive where Tyler Murphy had a tremendous scramble, nearly got in the end zone. They were up 7-3. The offense stalled. What do they have to do?
Man, I tell you what, they've got to get Tyler Murphy involved a little bit more in the running game. Try to get him outside the pocket. Maybe have some run option stuff outside. And then defensively, they've got to get more guys in the box to corral James Conner. The problem is you put your secondary in a bind against Tyler Boyd, who already has 2 touchdown passes. But it all starts in the trenches. I mean, they're getting pushed around a little bit right now with that veteran offensive line, and then on the defensive line, they get more bodies up there. But they've got to start controlling that, that line of scrimmage if they want to get back into this game.
And that is not BC football. I mean, they pride themselves on that offensive line play, controlling both lines. That's sort of the idea for Steve Adazio in building this program. So Tyler Murphy under center will give the ball straight ahead running, and again not a whole lot of room with Miles Willis. Let's check in once again with Allison Williams.
Tackling. It's all about tackling if BC wants to stop Pitt's run game. Coach Adazio told me at the half they had opportunities to stop them. They just haven't been able to wrap up that big, powerful James Conner. He said it's just all about making tackles in the second half.
Okay, well, that's good stuff, and that is true.
It's easier said than done, though, when you're dealing with a back, 6'2", 250.
He is something else. 207 rush yards already. BC has the 93, but 51 of them came on that one play early. That's a good little quick hitter in the right flat, and diving toward that first down mark, Dan Crimmins.
And that's the type of plays I was talking about. Move Tyler Murphy, get him outside of the pocket where he can threaten that edge, where he can press the line of scrimmage, force the defense to come up, make a play on him, and he can dump it right over to a receiver, just like he did there.
Well, they gave him the spot, 9-yard gain, first down. And maybe we'll see some of those easier pass plays help get the Florida transfer, Tyler Murphy, into a rhythm. BC's got some work to do, down 20-7. Willis straight ahead running for a couple of yards. Well, we were talking about James Conner. What a half. 15 rushes, 130 yards, almost 9 yards a carry. Third straight game for him, 100 or more. Tyler Boyd, not a lot of catches, but 2 touchdown catches, and then that number you're pointing to.
Yeah, that one, since that first 3 plays, you know, for BC, their offense has just been non-existent since then. They need to put something together right here.
Crimmins goes in motion, and on second down and 8, Murphy is sacked. Brought down in the backfield. Anthony Gonzalez, who was banged up early in the game, came back in, and he gets the sack.
And that's got to be frustrating for BC. We're talking about the line of scrimmage, just controlling those guys up front. I mean, that's a 7-man protection, a little play action, and you can't protect your quarterback. Now you set yourself up for a 3rd and 12 where your odds are not very good to get the first down. It all starts with those big boys up front. They got to give the quarterback some time.
Anthony Gonzalez, the 5th-year senior, was a high school quarterback, very good athlete, has become a natural at linebacker. Empty backfield now on 3rd and 12. Murphy in the pocket throwing middle, and it's tipped up and intercepted. And Ray Vittipal will bring it back, picking his way through across the 45 down to the 42-yard line. So Pitt comes up with the turnover, and the senior leader, the safety Vittipal, on the deflection. Ray Vittipal, and yeah.
Things are starting to snowball for BC. A great job picking up the blitz. You know, they did it that time. And then Crimmins, that ball's a little bit high and a little bit behind him, but he's got to make that catch. He doesn't, pops it right into the hands of Vittipal, who makes the really easy interception and a nice return.
So now great field position for the Panthers. They drove 80 yards to get a touchdown at the end of the first half. Now James Conner grinding away inside the 40 down to the 35-yard line.
Here's one more look at Crimmins. I mean, that ball hit him in the hands. You got to make that catch. I know I might be a little bit biased towards the quarterback, but I feel that's a pretty fair assessment.
No, I'm with you. You got to make that play.
And then going back to what Allison hit on with Coach Adazio saying they have to tackle. I mean, that time Conner, that last run where he got 8 yards, he was contacted after about 1 or 2, and he just carried guys for 6.
So he's bulling his way toward a 200-plus yard rushing game. But there's still a long way to go, but Pitt has taken charge of this one. Conner nowhere to go that time. And there's the tackling that Steve Adazio is talking about.
And that's what you have to do. You have to get 3, 4, 5 helmets up around Conner.
Well, Sean Duggan, the middle linebacker, who is an important player, tough guy for BC. He is down and hurting. And he's looking at his left leg. From Cincinnati, one of the captains of the defense down. BC back on their heels, 27. Pitt leads. Senior middle linebacker Sean Duggan on the sideline hurting. They're looking at that D. And we'll take a look at the play where he got hurt.
There's Duggan right in the middle there of that traffic. But watch his legs. Keep an eye on his legs. He gets kind of leg whipped in there, and you see him instantly grabbing his leg.
Yeah, look at him signal to the sideline. He needs help. He did run off himself, but as soon as he got to the sideline, just in a lot of pain. And that's a tough guy. The BC coaches were talking about it. He might be the toughest on that side of the ball. After a turnover, this is a big third down play. Boyd in motion, handoff, no, a fake, and Wojtek looking down the field. It is incomplete. So good defense there from BC. It's 4th and 3. Intended for Manessa Garner. We'll see what the Panthers decide to do.
I think the way BC has been playing offensively, they haven't been able to do much at all. You might feel a little bit better about yourself taking a shot at a longer field goal.
Well, that's what they're going to do, and they've got a kicker they are very confident in. Chris Blewett, who's kicked 2 field goals in this game, including a 49-yarder. This one 53 yards. This is the end of the stadium where we seem to have gotten some push from the wind.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That just changed their decision right there.
Yeah, that's not good.
Which might be a blessing in disguise, because you could have given BC really good field position there. Now you have the opportunity to pin them back.
Still, I doubt Paul Chryst is really thrilled to punt from the Eagles' 40-yard line.
No.
And he get that turnover with great field position, but did not take advantage of it. Bryce Jones back around the 10-yard line, and this punt from Ryan Winslow, fair catch signal, bounces, and that was a mistake. That one was there for the taking, and Pitt could not down it. It's a touchback.
That's got to be frustrating for the punter. You see him there, he dropped it perfectly.
Well, college football on ABC continues Saturday tomorrow, an early Pac-12 showdown. It's 14th ranked USC on the road looking for an upset against 13th ranked Stanford. USC Stanford 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Well, let's go down to the sideline and check in with Allison Williams.
I talked to Heather Cox, who met with USC today. Just a couple injury updates for you. First of all, their star defensive lineman, Leonard Williams. He hurt his ankle in practice this week. He's about 70%, but he will play. And as Sarkisian told her, him at 70% is better than most guys at 100%.
He is a good one. Murphy rolling out, and he hits the receiver, but a big hit on the other end for the Pitt defense. So a short game. That's Anthony Gonzalez. He is everywhere, the linebacker.
Leonard Williams, the Southern Cal defensive lineman, might be one of the best defensive linemen in the country. He is a stud, and I completely agree with Sark when he says 70% of him is better than most guys, 100%.
I think Stanford will take him at 70 as opposed to 100%.
Yeah.
Now that will be a matchup to watch against the big offensive line of the Cardinal in a huge game tomorrow in the Pac-12. Just week 2. The handoff, and just not a lot happening there. Those plays have not worked very well.
In the backfield, there was a little bit of confusion with where the back was lining up. Dazio would look like he was thinking about calling a timeout before that play, and this offense for BC still struggling kind of to find their legs underneath them.
Well, Kanan Mosley-Smith, who made the stop there, you can see he jogs off. He is a big dude in the middle of that defense. Hard to replace Aaron Donald, the star, maybe the best defensive player in college football last year. There's a design run, and Tyler Murphy has the first down across the 30 to the 32. So that's big for BC to move the chains.
Nice little just a counter, a natural counter. Watch Tyler Murphy takes a step to the right, and then you see the up back come right underneath him, a little kick out block. Nicely designed play and execution from BC. That was a big third down. I mean, everyone they're getting now, the more they can keep this offense on the field, it's critical.
Just the second third down conversion of the night for BC. Play fake. Murphy's got time. Looking downfield, going deep, and he overthrew Shaquem Phillips. He had a few different targets down the field.
Yeah, there were some guys running vertically down the field. And you see if he puts that ball out in front of him, he can lead him over towards that sideline. That's one of the toughest throws, though, for a right-handed quarterback to make, to throw it all the way back across. It can be tricky. Boy, and I tell you, that they're trying to protect quarterbacks more and more. That could have been a late hit call.
David Durham, that was not flagged. This time Pitt reads that quarterback keeper. And Murphy is stopped. Maybe got a half a yard. Another third down and long coming up. Well, we have the supervisor of ACC officials, Doug Rhodes, with us here in the broadcast booth. Doug, late hit or no?
No, we want to be, obviously want to protect the quarterback. Safety's an issue, but we allow them to complete the step they're in and then take one more. So that was okay. Very close, but you don't want them to take two steps and hit him.
Well, we're glad to have Doug with us here. And a good clarification. It's 3rd and 10. Murphy from the shotgun has to step up. And he throws right along the sideline. It's a catch at midfield. Bobby Wolford, who's like a fullback tight end, a hybrid, showing some good hands.
Yeah, and some good feet, too, to be able to keep those in bounds, get that 1 foot in bounds. And he was right on the sideline. Look at that concentration, focus. That knee might have been out.
It was close.
I want to snap it quick.
Well, they're going to stop.
The ruling on the previous play was a completed pass. The play is under review.
I think this one might come back. You saw that knee. That left knee looked like it was out of bounds when he caught the ball.
I mean, the question is, if he's got it secure and then the knee touches and you maintain control, but I don't know. As it stands right now, it's a 19-yard gain and a first down. Well, is it possible it hit his hands before the knee touched and he grabbed it?
It is close. And remember, the call on the field was it was a catch.
Yeah.
So it has to be indisputable video evidence that it is out of bounds.
Well, this is a big moment in this game.
It's huge. I mean,
and we've had a couple of these that have been very, very tough on the replay officials.
All right, Dave, you're onto the booth. What are you calling?
I'll give
you mine, but I want to hear yours first.
I call that pass complete.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you because I don't think there's enough clarity or anything that would say, without a doubt, that wasn't a catch.
So we'll see how smart we are.
Right.
I might be 0 for the night. Well, it's going to be 4th down, and BC's going to have to punt if the call is overturned. Is there indisputable evidence to overturn it? But if that knee was on the out-of-bounds line as he was making the catch, it's not a catch. It looks like we're close.
That was a 3rd and long. Tyler Murphy, great play.
After review, the receiver's knee was out of bounds. Incomplete pass. It will be 4th and 10 at the 32-yard line.
0 for the night.
I should have gone with my gut. The first instinct was he was out, and then the more times we looked at it, talked myself into it.
So that's a big call on both ends.
Right there, that knee, saying it was down before he possessed it.
Yeah. Look, I can see why they saw it that way.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you don't have that clear look straight down the sideline, the straight clear look, sometimes those camera angles could be a little deceptive. But apparently not in this case. So the punt, a very high punt. And a fair catch signal for Tyler Boyd. Pitt with perhaps a break, and they get the ball back. Controlling this game on the road. Pitt leads 20-7.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by the Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous. And Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
Now that says Boston to me. The Union Oyster House down along the Freedom Trail, which they say the oldest restaurant in the United States. Daniel Webster used to go there for dinner, so it's been around a long time. One of the great spots in this great city. Pitt gets the ball. They've come to Boston and they're playing well, leading BC 22-7. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Well, BC will be without their senior linebacker, Sean Duggan, for the rest of this game. You can see him there with that knee iced up. He's on crutches. The pads are off. BC will only say that it is a left knee injury. They will not speak to the severity of it, but I can tell you he's very frustrated, as you imagine, over here on the sidelines.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. You could tell right away he knew something was wrong with his reaction as he went to the ground. So it's 2nd and 8. Connor in the backfield. Chad Wojcik, the quarterback, under center, hands it to James Connor, and he gets through again. And it takes more than one defender to bring him down all the way out to the 45.
We've got a combination of an offensive line really coming together, creating some holes. When you combine that with a back who's meeting linebackers and safeties at that second level with a lot of steam behind him, and it is just really tough for BC to slow them down right now.
19 carries, 154 yards for the sophomore from Erie, Pennsylvania. A lot of great running backs in the history of this Pitt program, and he looks like another one. Tyler Boyd, the receiver. Wojcik looking for him. He's got Boyd open, and it's caught inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. So Tyler Boyd, the star sophomore, already 2 touchdown catches, and now his longest gain through the air.
Tyler Boyd, this is a route, one of the routes he talked about last night, selling that corner and then breaking back inside to the post. The weak side safety almost came back and got it, but good focus and concentration from Boyd to reel that in.
41 yards. And now the officials stop play.
Timeout, Boston College.
Well, BC just trying to hang on and get organized. Trailing Pitt 20-7.
Let's have a look at this last route by Tyler Boyd. Watch him get up the field. He really presses the defensive back, Bryce Jones, vertically up the field, presses him, and then right there, watch the reaction of Bryce Jones. Just that slight hesitation to the corner gets him turned around, and that's the minute Chad Wojcik, the quarterback, knows he's got him. As soon as that defensive back gets twisted up and he's going the wrong direction, the quarterback's got to be licking his chops. Beautiful route.
That sets up the 1st and 10. Not quite 1st and goal. Ball at the 14 of BC, with Pitt trying to really take control of this one. James Conner pushing his way forward and still going inside the 10 down to the 9. So that extra effort, it's a 5-yard gain.
So you start watching Pitt and you see what they've got. They've got a really nice complement with Conner and Boyd. You know, the run game in Conner, the pass game in Boyd. And when you see Chad Wojcik, the quarterback, kind of growing up, getting more confident with every throw that he makes, they're tough to stop.
Offset eye, and the tight end will come in motion on 2nd and 5. They're going to give it to Conner, running left side, cut upfield, 5, end zone, touchdown. You can't tackle him. James Conner is dominating this game, a 9-yard touchdown run. $167 yards, and that's the first time he's into the end zone. So a 5-play drive, the one big pass play to the other star on this Pitt offense, Tyler Boyd, and then the sophomore Conner punches it in. And Chris Blewett with the extra point, up and good. And how impressive are the Panthers right now, leading 27-7.
James Conner's been special, 250 pounds coming at you. But what about the help from the big boys around him? Number 31, Jamar Parrish coming at you. Number 71, Gabe Roberts. Pitt is rolling.
Well, Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams from Chestnut Hill on the campus of Boston College. The Eagles, though, watching the Panthers roll. Pitt playing very, very well. By the way, ESPN brings you college football primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. 2 great coaches, 2 great programs. Virginia Tech at Ohio State. The 8th-ranked Buckeyes hosting Saturday, 8 Eastern on ESPN. A very big game for the young Ohio State quarterback. And these playoff implications with the committee watching. The Big Ten Conference has got 2 big ones tomorrow. Booming kickoff, and out of the end zone once again. It's a touchback. Well, this Friday night, our Friday focus, we were talking about that game in Columbus, Ohio. Virginia Tech on Friday, getting the equipment ready. Those Hokies helmets all shined up and polished. There's Frank Beamer, who has had so many great teams, has built that program into a powerhouse. They are in Columbus getting ready for Ohio State. And our colleagues, Brad, Todd, Holly, Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, they'll cover that game from the shoe tomorrow.
One thing, if you're at Ohio State watching practice, you're not allowed to wear blue.
It's a rule. Here's a pass complete in the right flat to Dan Crimmins. Well, BC, they led 7-3. Since then, it has been all Pittsburgh. Gain of 4 on that first down play. Still a long way to go in this game. If the Eagles could get down the field and score, they might change the feel of this one, but BC's offense after the first minutes of the game just has not done much of anything. They got to the line quickly there, a little quick tempo. It did not work. Tyler Rouse was swarmed in Durham, and that guy Anthony Gonzalez in on the play again.
Man, Todd Thomas, number 8 for Pitt, just came right through the hole, just blew up the back. Watch him right here. Watch him shoot through the gap and just blow up that lineman right there. Just runs him over. And that's been the kind of physical game it's been, and Pitt has been delivering most of the blows.
BC just 2 of 9 on third downs. It's 3rd and 6. Tyler Murphy, the quarterback, flush left, pursued, stays on his feet. He throws, and he's got the pass complete. The Pitt sideline saying that the ball was juggled by Tyler Rouse, but it's ruled a completion into Pitt territory.
Well, I wish BC would go a little up tempo, no huddle, try to create something to get momentum going. Last time they did hustle up to the line of scrimmage, but I'd like to see them go no huddle. You see Murphy, what he brings to the table when he's outside of the pocket. Defenders came up to stop him, and he dropped it right over him.
Well, you can see there was a little bobble, but I think he secured it. And they'll get the play off anyway. So the play counts no matter what. Murphy looking downfield deep. He's got his man open. Phillips, end zone touchdown. 48 yards, and maybe that will get the Eagles back in this game. They needed a big play bad.
BC desperately needed an answer. Tyler Murphy delivered it to Shaquem Phillips.
Extra point, another snap that was not perfect there, but the extra point is up and good. There's still a lot of time to go in this game, and Boston College down just 13.
That was something we talked a lot about. It. They've tried to take some of these shots down the field. This one, play action pass. And there was one before that he didn't lead him out there enough, kind of threw it behind him. Exact same play. That time he hits him in stride, it's a touchdown. That was a beautiful thrown ball. And a nice route by Phillips. I mean, this game, I think everybody in here, anybody watching on TV was probably thinking, hey, it's over. And BC, with that quick answer, threw themselves right back in it.
Well, Tyler Murphy knows no big celebration yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. But Shaquem Phillips, and we expected him to be an impact player. You highlighted him right at the start. He did not play last week in their opener. He's a transfer from UConn, and they may have a nice weapon on the outside. Well, they definitely got a weapon at quarterback. This kid, Tyler Murphy, graduate student now, transfer from Florida, has become the leader of this BC offense. His first year here at Chestnut Hill. So BC will kick it deep. Boyd back in the end zone, and he'll take a knee. So it is a touchback. Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed more than $3.4 million in scholarship funds. The students enjoying their first football game of 2014. And a newcomer to this BC program, Shaquem Phillips, with a big play in the passing game. Now, Danny, what does the Eagles defense have to do to try to slow down Connor and Boyd and company?
They got to swarm to the football, get a lot of helmets around him, get some movement up front, don't get pushed around by the offensive line.
Wojcik under center, Connor the tailback, and they will give it to James Connor. Cuts back right. And dragged down across the 30 out to the 32. So even when it didn't look like there was a whole lot there, he gets a nice gain.
For a guy that's 250 pounds, he's got just enough shiftiness where he can get out of that. Like, I mean, it looked like he was bottled up, and then he just kind of explodes to the outside and gets those extra 5-6 yards. And that's what separates good backs from great ones. I mean, that's a great run Those yards after contact.
174 yards overall, almost 8 yards a carry. He'll get it again. Why not? But not this time. Hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss of a yard.
Talked about swarming to the football, getting a lot of helmets there. Watch how many BC defenders have to come up and ensure 4 or 5 to get Connor down.
BC's got some momentum in this game, finally. And this is a big play for their defense. 3rd and 4.
Well, they're late getting guys on the field, too. They can't get lined up. I would expect pressure, too.
Overloaded on that left side. The throw is knocked down, incomplete. Bryce Jones got a hand on the ball, and it's 4th down. BC will force a punt.
As a defensive back, you have to have a short memory. Remember, Bryce Jones was the guy circled when he was one-on-one with Tyler Boyd and got beat for that big play? Well, he bounced back. And the big pass break up there on 3rd down, I mean, that was such a big stop.
So Ryan Winslow, the punter. Thaddeus Smith, a freshman, is back to return this punt. We'll see if BC has a chance for a return. They almost got a block on. And the punt is taken by Smith. He did signal fair catch. So BC gets the ball back. Good punt, though. Good special teams play by Pittsburgh. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell here at Alumni Stadium. And Danny, I don't know about you, but this game does feel like a different game here in these last few minutes.
No doubt about it. I mean, Tyler Murphy made a couple nice plays out of the pocket. The big touchdown pass to Shaquem Phillips. Defense responds. They feed off that momentum. Now they've got to go and do it again. And Pitt's got to make sure that they go for the knockout blow. They can't get complacent. So, I mean, it's very much a ball game right now. And I think that's the thing that impresses me about both these teams. I mean, they both very physical, very gritty, very gutty. They're not going to give up and just go down without a fight.
Now, BC not as equipped to play from behind as maybe a different style offense, but still we've seen some good things from Murphy. Handoff, straight ahead running, and a nice gain. That's as good of a gain as we've seen in a while by Miles Willis, the sophomore.
It's the oldest cliche in the book, talking about momentum and how, you know, you can capitalize on it, but it does. I mean, you can see it take place before your eyes. The offensive line, they start bouncing around a little bit more. Receivers, they start running crisper routes. You see better throws from the quarterback. Guys start to feed off of it.
A quiet game for Miles Willis, just 14 yards rushing, but a pickup of 6 there on 1st down. So 2nd and 4, and the play fake. Murphy hit, and that's going to be ruled an incomplete pass. The arm was coming forward, but man, he took a shot. Tyler Murphy will take some inventory, make sure everything's okay.
Pressure, that's a DB coming off the edge. That's one of the hardest guys to account for. Reggie Mitchell, number 15. And that's, Pitt hasn't blitzed a ton. That was perfectly dialed up at the right time.
So now a big 3rd and 4 play. The Eagles trying to sustain some of that momentum Danny was talking about. Murphy sprinting right, throws back left, and he bounced the throw. And that is perhaps not a forward pass. Josh Bordner scooped it up after it bounced and then was tackled way behind the line of scrimmage. So that was a backwards pass on a live ball.
And this play was set up to perfection. If Tyler Murphy could have completed this, look at all the green grass. Look at all the blockers setting up a wall. Look at all these guys running out there, but let's see if the pass is backwards.
That was close, but from that look, and the officials, I think they deserve some credit there. Let the play out. And it was a backwards pass, so a loss of 12 and a low line drive punt. Boyd takes it and gets hit immediately and dropped. And a flag thrown behind the play on the return. 27 seconds to go, 3rd quarter, and we'll see what the penalty is.
There's no foul for a block in the back.
So there was no penalty. Pitt's getting the ball back here. And let's see where Murphy was. Between that 22-yard line and the 23, releases the ball. And where does it bounce? Back behind the 22. Yep. Just barely, but that's a backwards pass.
Pretty heads-up play there by Bordner to make sure he got on it, because that could have been really a disaster.
So no flag on the punt return. 27 seconds left in the third quarter. Pitt gets the ball back, and again it's James Conner in the backfield. They will give it to Conner running left side, and he gets dragged down across the 45. Gain of 2. Well, that likely will be the final play of the third quarter. This game not decided yet. Two ACC rivals. Their second game of the year, first conference game, and it's a big one. And the Pitt Panthers have come on the road here to Boston College and are playing well. 15 minutes to go. Pitt 27, BC 14.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Well, we're early on the road to the college football playoff, but a big weekend once again early in this college football season. This is a big game in the ACC for two programs that believe they're on the rise. Pitt, as the fourth quarter starts with the ball and the lead, and the pass into the flat to the tight end J.P. Holtz across midfield, but tripped up a couple yards short of the first down.
And here's an opportunity to find out about Pitt. Can you close out a game on the road? Can you finish it?
with a young first-time quarterback, just a sophomore, Chad Wojtek. He's done some good things tonight in his first road start. 3rd and 2, high formation with the big tailback James Conner. And they will give it to Conner straight ahead, and he fights forward for the first down. Inside the 45. That is just so tough to stop. You know it's coming, but 250 pounds and a tackle breaker, when they only need a couple of yards, they're going to give it to him almost every time.
I mean, he's knocking on the door of 200 yards in this game. I mean, the thing I like about Pitt and Paul Christ is they have a very clear identity. I mean, they know what they want to do. They're going to be pretty straightforward about it, and you have to stop them.
The clock continues to move. Tight end in motion on first down. Pitt could be deliberate now, playing with the lead. Conner cuts back middle, still on his feet, still going. And down to the 35-yard line. He got 10 on the first down. James Conner, the sophomore, just pounding on the BC defense. And Danny, almost everything just straight ahead, like you were talking about.
Right up the middle. I mean, that's the thing that's so backbreaking for a defense, too, when they're just cramming it right down your throat. That's demoralizing.
And you would figure in the fourth quarter that really starts to pay off now. I mean, that BC defense, they have got to be hurting. Give it to Conner again. Straight ahead running again. More broken tackles to the 30. Another 5-yard chunk.
James Conner has been a beast tonight. And watch all the yards after contact. When he gets hit there, gets another 5, 6, 7 yards, delivers a blow at the sideline, right up the gut of BC's defense. You see a lot of arm tackles there. You have to wrap him up. And just those little cuts back up inside. I mean, James Conner has been really impressive. I mean, he and Tyler Boyd, they've got some weapons to work with on the offensive side of the ball at Pitt.
James is saying, okay, now I'll take a play off. I'll get a drink. Chris James takes his place in the backfield, and the true freshman with the carry. And even the true freshman breaking a couple tackles to lunge forward for 2 yards.
Here's a situation where you find out how much they trust their young quarterback. 3rd and 3. You're in field goal range already. My guess, they'll keep it on the ground, get a little bit conservative.
Yeah, they could ask Wojtek to try to run for it himself. That's one of the things he can do. 3rd and 3 from that I formation. And they will just give it to James, picking his way forward, and he squirts through for the first down. The ball was down. The ball came out, and BC going the other way. Justin Simmons, but no. The play was whistled down, and it will be a first down. So the freshman, good run, but make sure you hold on to the ball, and let's get the big boy back in.
They want to make sure that any disaster does not happen again. See the knees down, and then the ball pops loose.
Yep, that was a good job by the officials. Blow the play dead. 21 first downs overall, 16 on the ground for Pitt. Conner tried to slip through, but no, not this time. He goes backwards.
And when you watch Pitt with an impressive showing tonight, it makes you look at the ACC Coastal and say, all right, they have an excellent chance of being one of the front runners. When you look at the teams that are in there, you got Virginia Tech, UNC, Virginia, Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami. I mean, after Miami's showing the other night against Louisville, UNC struggled against Liberty the other night. Virginia looked good against UCLA, but lost. I mean, the Coastal is wide open, and Pitt been pretty impressive tonight.
And I think Duke deserves credit for what they did last year, and David Cutcliffe's got a good program going now. Conner, those legs keep churning inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. But I'm with you, because that division, now look, Florida State is a cut above everybody in the ACC, but if you're talking about who's next, this is an impressive statement by Pitt. They have a chance to have a very good year.
You hit on something important, though, about Duke. I hate the way people look at Duke and say, well, The ACC can't be that strong if Duke is your coastal champion. I totally disagree. I think David Cutcliffe is building something special there at Duke. He's starting to recruit, starting to get some players. They are a good squad.
So 3rd and 9, BC has a chance at least to force a field goal try. And on the surface, the pass offense on the field for Pitt. Just a heave and nobody there. Vanessa Garner, there was a flag in the backfield. Wojcik was pressured. That'll be a hold against Pitt. I would imagine BC will decline that.
Yeah, but offense number 53, penalty is declined, 4th down.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't enforce the penalty because you've moved the kicker back. I mean, it's a very makeable field goal. You push him back, it's, throws a wrench in things.
Well, it's a good point. It would make it 3rd down, so you would give Pitt an opportunity for another play, but a field goal makes this a 3-score game.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised.
I guess technically not if you say 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. Chris Blewett, who's been excellent, this is a 47-yard try. Make that a 41-yard try. And the kick on the way, and that one is good again. So Blewett has been perfect in this one. 41 yards, and Pitt takes a 30-14 lead here, trying to get their first ACC win of the year. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John. Still feels like summertime here in Boston. BC at home and trailing the Pitt Panthers 30-14. 9:53 to go in this first ACC game for both sides. And it's been impressive for Pitt. The Panthers have showed off their star power on the offensive side of the ball. The receiver, Tyler Boyd, the tailback, James Conner. And Boston College, they've got some work to do. So the kickoff, and Willis in the end zone will bring it out, cuts middle and tries to bounce it left. Can he get to the corner? To the 30 and shoved out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. Hey, it's back, Danny Cannell. Let's unveil your quarterback stock chart.
everybody's favorite, right? It's Chris, do you want to know the criteria?
Yeah,
so it's a
please,
combination. It's a very complicated formula.
Okay.
But basically, the gist of it is, how well did you play against what type of competition, and did you win? Christian Hackenberg, great game, over 400 yards, brought his team back, game-winning drive. Kenny Hill, we all saw what he did. Brandon Doughty, if you throw for 569 yards and 6 touchdown passes, you're going to get on the list from Western Kentucky.
Tyler Murphy makes a man miss in the backfield. Now he's going to start scrambling. Murphy gets pulled down from behind. All right, we didn't see enough of the stock report. So this is not your top 10 quarterbacks in the country.
No, not the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. Some of the guys with down arrows, you may notice, Jameis Winston, he was one of the hottest quarterbacks from last year coming in, so he probably would have started at 1, had a couple costly interceptions in their Week 1 win against Oklahoma State. That's why he's trending down a little bit. Bo Wallace, a similar situation.
Because, I mean, you see a quarterback list with Bo Wallace and Blake Sims and no Marcus Mariota, for example.
Competition.
It's
competition.
It's not a top 10. Nope. It's a stock report. And that pass a little bit behind Shaquem Phillips, incomplete. So third down coming up in BC. They cannot mess around here. Down by 16, under 9 to go. Well, Tyler Murphy, if you're going to do a stock report on his night, what would you say?
It's been rough. He hasn't got much help. He's been hit a lot in the pocket. I think Pitt, you got to credit Pitt because their game plan coming in was keep him in the pocket. You know, he had the one nice touchdown pass to Shaquem Phillips, but he's been harassed all night.
Yeah, the spectacular run very early in the game that set up the first touchdown on 3rd and 4. In the pocket, plenty of time, and he throws incomplete. And that one was off target, intended for Dan Crimmins. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Well, guys, Murphy told us that when he first came to BC, he was not completely comfortable being a leader. The coaches challenged him to step up, and they said that he has. But I have to say, watching him on the sidelines, he's been really quiet. And I understand there are different types of leaders. Not everybody is a rah-rah guy. But I just wonder if in this kind of game, if BC could use a little bit more from their quarterback on the energy front.
And maybe, Allison, maybe that is part of the growth process for a guy who was at Florida but didn't get a chance to play a lot. Here is a fair catch from Tyler Boyd. Pitt in control of this one. There's Murphy talking about that last sequence on the sideline. He and the Eagles down 30-14.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery and in part by Dick's Sporting Goods. Visit ESPN Fan Shop, powered by Dick's Sporting Goods, for your officially licensed fan gear.
Well, a night to celebrate BC football back at home in 2014, and yet it's been the Pitt Panthers and that guy, James Conner, number 24, who have controlled this game as Pitt gets the ball back at their own 15, leading by 16, and Conner is going to keep getting the ball. And why not? That puts him close, not quite there, but close to 200 yards on the evening. $199 on 30 carries with a touchdown. And it has not been a lot of nuance. It has been pure power running from the sophomore. Over 6.5 yards a rush.
Again, guys, be awake in your side zone. Be awake.
The combination, his package of what he can do. He can run it right at you. He's got the speed to get around you. He doesn't go down at first contact. He drags guys with him. He has been really impressive.
2nd and 5, Conner across the 20. And he got at least enough to go over 200 yards for the night. It'll be 3rd down. Well, look, he just
comes out. Yeah, that might have been what he was doing in there. Get that 200 yards, just kind of for that milestone. Give him a break.
3rd and 4. You got a lot of good running backs across the country. You got Todd Gurley of Georgia, who's been sensational already. Melvin Gordon, the 2 kids with Alabama, Amir Abdullah with Nebraska, Duke Johnson in the ACC with Miami. A lot of good ones. Buck Allen, USC, playing in the big game tomorrow.
From what I've seen tonight, I put James Conner top 5 running back in the country.
He may be. Wojcik tries to leap forward, and he does. Maybe got carried along the way, but Chad Wojcik, the quarterback, with enough to get the first down. Well, Saturday, NASCAR season comes down to Richmond. After 6 months of racing, the playoffs just a week away. It's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond, presented by AutoZone. Tomorrow, 7 on ABC. Offensive lineman T.J. Clemmings, who is a real good player. He is an important part of that Pitt offensive line. Down and hurting. Pitt's already lost their center, Artie Rao. We don't know how serious his injury, but he left early and has not come back. And Clemmings, he's an interesting story. He's a senior. He started as a defensive lineman before last year. Last year made the move to the offensive line. Paul Christ and company just were raving about how he is taken to being on the offensive side of the ball. Well, he was down.
Wojcik ran over him. I mean, he just got caught up in the crowd there.
I guarantee you he was not expecting that. So we'll hope he's okay. We'll take a break very quickly and come back. 30-14. Pitt leads.
Crystal, just a reminder, coming up at the bottom of the hour, Cody Fajardo, one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks in the country, and his Nevada Wolfpack going to be taking on Washington State. And Mike Leach's high-powered offense should see some fireworks coming up at the bottom of the hour. Till then, though, back to Dave and Danny, guys.
All right, Chris, thanks. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams here. BC at home, but trailing Pitt 30-14. That's big. TJ Clemmings, a very important part of the Pitt offensive line. He walked off, and they're looking at him. He appears to be okay. Artie Rowell, less than okay. The starting center had a leg, we assume a knee injury. His left leg was hurt earlier in the game. So Pitt in control of this one, looking like they're going to get a victory. They do not want to lose two of their top 5 offensive linemen, though. James Conner back in the game. 200 yards rushing for Conner already. And he's got a few more. You're not going to get him by the jersey. That will not work.
And I love how he tried to stay in bounds there. Tried to angle himself back in to keep the clock going.
Hey, by the way, look who's watching this one. Yeah, they are balling. Yeah, Pitt's playing pretty well. Aaron Donald, who was just dominant and will start his NFL career on Sunday with the St. Louis Rams. But he is already one of the all-time great Pitt Panthers.
I mean, just dominated that defensive line. He's going to play for a long time in the NFL.
If there was a trophy last year, he won it. Yeah. He took them all. Conner bouncing off tacklers. James Conner. There is a flag behind the play. Likely a hold.
Holding, offense number 75, 10-yard penalty, second down.
So Jared Jones-Smith, who I think came in place of TJ Clemmings, called for the hold, although he's a guy who does move around on the offensive line. There is Clemmings. Looking at those shoulders.
Maybe a possibly stinger.
Stinger, that's what I was thinking. I was waiting for the guy who took more hits than I did to weigh in, but that's what it looks like to me. And I know you talk to players who get those, say they can be scary.
Yeah.
That sensation comes on right away. 2nd and 11 after the penalty, so the run was negated. So they'll just give it to the big boy again. Not as much room this time. 3rd down and long coming up. Well, Pitt looking like it'll get out of BC with a victory here tonight. And the schedule, I think, Danny, it sets up pretty nicely.
Absolutely does. I'm interested to see that Iowa matchup. That's a great ACC Big Ten matchup, kind of a conference rivalry right there.
I mean, Akron's a good team, but you're playing that game at home.
Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Duke, that slate all at home, some of their toughest tests. That's huge.
Well, Virginia Tech, that's our Thursday night crew. They'll be there in Pittsburgh for that. That could be a big game. Pitt, they play like this, they may well be undefeated going into that game. 3rd down back. Isaac Bennett gets a carry. It'll be 4th down. On that last play, James Conner, or maybe hurting a little bit, that left hand, left wrist.
Well, as many times as he's toted the rock tonight and been pounded on, I'm sure he's going to have quite a few nicks and bruises.
Yeah, James may want to sit the rest of this one. He may not want to, but his coach may want him to sit the rest of this one out. 35 carries, 211 yards for the sophomore. And the punt, fair catch signal, and taken at the 30-yard line. So BC will get the ball back. Do they have a miracle left? Tyler Murphy and company. They're going to have to play up-tempo if BC is going to come from behind, trailing 30-14. Well, BC here at home down 30-14, only 4:03 to go. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell here from Alumni Stadium. James Conner has been the man of the night for Pitt. Now the Panthers lean on their defense to try to help finish this one off. Tyler Murphy, the quarterback. BC's got to get some big chunk plays, and almost there was some contact there. Shaquem Phillips, the intended target, incomplete.
Phillips had a step, too. If Murphy puts a little air into that, hits him in stride, that would have been a quick hitter right there. Man, if you're Pitt, you got to make sure you keep everybody in front of you. You got to make BC drive the length of the field. You can't give them a quick touchdown.
That was a mistake in coverage, but they got away with it. And you can see where Tyler Murphy is still raw as a passer. There have been some plays there. This time he zips one in, but it's broken up, incomplete. Anthony Gonzalez and Matt Galambos, two linebackers coming together. Charlie Callahan, the intended receiver, incomplete, 3rd and 10. I've been impressed with that guy.
Yeah, he's been flying around the field quite a bit. Coming into this game, we were watching Pitt play defensively, wondering who would kind of rise as a star of the defense. And it is a collective group. But Anthony Gonzalez has been all over the field.
Yeah, there's no Aaron Donald this year.
No.
At least not yet. Murphy is going to be sacked. Rory Blair, the true freshman. So he's got some talent in for the sack. 4th and long, and that, I mean, BC is not going to go for it. They're going to punt, which essentially sort of concedes the game.
And Murphy's been getting hit a lot all night. That's just kind of epitomizes the night right there that BC has had. Struggled protecting the quarterback, struggled to get the run game going, and kind of glaring how Andre Williams has missed around here.
Another big punt. And Boyd with the fair catch, sort of acrobatic style fair catch, as Pitt will get the ball back. Key matchup for that big Michigan State-Oregon game.
Hey, Tony Lippett was huge in week 1, 177 yards through the air, but he's going to be going against one of the best defensive backs in the country in Ifo Ekpe-Olumu, a special player for Oregon defensively. And when you watch that matchup, I think the first quarter is going to be huge, because if Oregon playing at home, they start so fast, it takes a while to adjust to them. That first quarter, just keep an eye on it, because if Oregon jumps out ahead, that doesn't bode well for Michigan State.
I do like you spotlighting that matchup, though, because everybody's talking about, can they slow down the Oregon offense? Michigan State's offense themselves, that's a pretty powerful group. They've gotten a lot better.
Connor Cook has evolved. Jeremy Langford in the backfield has been impressive.
Look who's still in the game. James Conner. He does not want to take the rest of the night off. Friday Focus here on this Friday night. Earlier today in Eugene, those two teams getting ready for the huge. Autzen will be rocking. You know it will. And the Ducks' spectacular quarterback, Marcus Mariota. It'll be a big challenge. Mark Helfrich, the head coach, with a smile on his face. I don't know. I mean, you want to run that up-tempo, big-time, fast-paced offense. You try to do it against Michigan State. It is not easy. The Spartans' defense, I mean, they know how to handle just about every style offense.
Oh, I mean, look at the momentum they carried in last year. They won the Big Ten with a win over Ohio State, go to the Rose Bowl, beat Stanford, and they, we talked about Pitt earlier having an identity. Michigan State, I mean, they are very clear-cut what they're going to do. They're going to win with the strong defense, not a lot of superstars. Lost a lot of guys, not necessarily the NFL, but they have a very clear identity. And for them to go in, it's going to be a challenge. I'm concerned for them as far as dealing with the speed, but Oregon's had its struggles against similar type teams, those physical teams like Stanford.
Yeah, and I think that's the blueprint, what Stanford has done to the Ducks here these last few years. Michigan State, they seem like a team that's equipped to do it. So we'll see tomorrow. But obviously a huge game. A fumbled snap, you don't want that up 30-14 with under 3 to play.
I'm still a little bit surprised that Oregon is a 12.5, 13-point favorite. When you look at it, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, maybe Vegas knows something I don't. But I will say this, too. Michigan State, if they do get blown out, I mean, if they get beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns and it's not pretty, that could hurt them in the long run. When you talk about playoff implications and can they get in, that doesn't look good. But if they play them tight, if they play them physical and go up right against them, they can have a good showing even if they lose.
I don't see a blowout. I
No,
just don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I think Michigan State is more than capable, not just of hanging, they're capable of winning that game. Well, James Conner, Pitt's being stubborn with their top tailback. He has stayed in the game. 2 minutes, 4 seconds to go. BC calls their final timeout with 4th down coming up. And we will have a punt after the timeout. College football on ABC tomorrow, Saturday. That Pac-12 showdown we've talked about a lot. USC on the road off their impressive win against Fresno State. Against 13th ranked Stanford. It has been a great rivalry through the years, and especially lately, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Kevin Hogan against Cody Kessler. 2 underrated guys going head-to-head in a game that definitely has playoff implications. 92nd meeting. Stanford is USC's oldest rival. The Cardinals, 17 straight home wins. They're 34-3 in their last 37 home games, and they've won 5 of 7 in that head-to-head series. Lots of them have been close. It has been a great head-to-head matchup these last few years. But that Stanford home win streak, that's the longest now of anybody in the country.
It's going to be a fun game to watch. Michigan, Notre Dame, sad to see that one go.
Yep. That's another highlight for tomorrow. The Pitt punt. And that one fair caught by Thaddeus Smith. Ryan Winslow with the punt. BC gets the ball back, needing 2 touchdowns plus 2 two-point conversions just to tie. Out of timeouts, 1:55 to go. Maybe you can hustle down the field, get a score, try an onside kick, have a prayer.
They got to protect Tyler Murphy first.
Yeah. I mean, even in this hurry up where Pitt's playing sort of a conservative defense, they have not been able to protect him.
Yeah, I mean, only rushing 3 or 4 guys and still getting to him.
That one is incomplete. Intended for Crimmins, maybe thrown behind a little bit.
Again, it's just been that sort of night for BC. Just a little bit off. You know, the ball might be a little bit behind, or the receiver can't make the great catch.
There have been some plays available for Tyler Murphy and company. One thing, though, the run game really has not been there. The 4 running backs have combined 17 carries, 52 yards. Andre Williams, tough to replace, but BC needs more than that from their running backs. Murphy in the pocket, throws. This time it's incomplete again. Crimmins had it, but then the ball was jarred loose. Ray Vinipal, 5th-year safety, all ACC last year.
Football junkie, right?
That's what his coach calls him.
Yep.
He lives and breathes football. He wants to talk football. He wants to watch football. Sort of the captain in the secondary for the Panthers. 3rd and 10. Murphy again looking middle. Vinipal was there. Good coverage, but a nice completion. Callahan with the catch and the 1st down. Clock stops while they set the ball. Murphy pressured, gets away. And a little pump fake. He'll go out of bounds.
Even this is valuable opportunity for Tyler Murphy. We talked about his lack of experience, even though he was a 5th-year guy who played some at Florida last year. This is valuable experience for him, getting to run the 2-minute drill, getting used to the verbiage. I mean, it's all new. It's still a new system to him as well.
Well, and I think Tyler Murphy, BC can build a productive offense around his skill set. They can. But it's still early in this season. For Pitt, though, replacing a starting quarterback and a lot of experience, I think the Panthers have to be thrilled with the way that this first true test of 2014 has gone. Murphy dancing around in the pocket, and he's going to scramble again. He will go out of bounds at around the 32-yard line. So a 1st down. BC stops the clock, 1:19 to go.
They got to start taking some shots at the end zone.
Well, BC's defense a little stingier here in the second half, but look at the number for Boston College. 18 rushing yards in the second half. Part of that is playing from behind and having to give up your normal game plan. And I bet that that'll be one of the points that Steve Adazio makes, is that They're just not a team equipped to fall behind and play catch up. But Pittsburgh over 300 yards rushing, and their young quarterback Chad Wojcik. He did not have to do a whole lot, but he made some good throws to his star Tyler Boyd. And I thought as the game went on, again, we didn't see a lot of passing in the second half. I thought he looked good.
Yeah, and he took some shots early in the game too. There were a couple pressures when he got hit right in the mouth, and yet watching him throughout the game, he still planted that back foot, stood firm in the pocket. Made some nice throws. He's got a great weapon in Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, those early numbers were ugly. He made a couple poor passes, but he cleaned it up after that. After the timeout, first down, Murphy trying to find somewhere to go with the ball. And he's going to run again, and he will get out of bounds across the first down mark. They spot him at the 21. 1:11 to go. BC not giving up. Again, the only prayer of actually winning this game is a touchdown, and they have to do it quickly. Then they'd have to get the 2-point conversion. They'd have to get an onside kick, recover that, and go down and do it again.
Crazier things have happened. Hey, it's Friday night, right?
Not many crazier. There's a delivery, incomplete, threw it low.
Well, it's a good thing it was low, because if that ball was up high, then a ball would have maybe decapitated Shaquille Phillips.
So 1:06 to go. Second down for Tyler Murphy. Pitt actually showed some pressure there. They don't bring it. Murphy now, a nice move in the open field. Murphy trying to get into the end zone. He's dragged down inside the 5. But with 56 seconds left, the clock will stop, and it's first and goal.
Making it interesting, BC is, for sure.
Well, for some people especially.
Yeah. 50 total points.
Expected to be a lower scoring game. Murphy rolling, looking, end zone, touchdown.
Now they got to go for 2. So that's where it gets really interesting.
Well, there's step 1 of about 5.
Yeah.
BC's going to pull off a miracle. And for Paul Christ, his defense did make the Eagles take some time. Over 100 yards rushing now for Tyler Murphy. No BC quarterback had ever done that ever before last week. Now Tyler Murphy's done it 2 weeks in a row. 10-point game, and you got to get the 2 here. So this is a big one for plenty of folks. The outcome may not be in doubt. We're right on that 50 number. Let's see. Murphy rolling. Looking to throw back across, and it is knocked down, incomplete. So it stays 30-20, and that basically ends the game. They'll still, I'm sure, try an onside kick, but you had to have that one to have a prayer. And it might have gotten a little stressful for the Panthers had they converted there.
No doubt about it. That was, like I mentioned, good reps for Tyler Murphy and BC running down the field, working that 2-minute drill.
I like how that guy's played. Todd Thomas, the senior linebacker, number 8.
Yeah, he's been flying around the field, blowing up some offensive linemen.
So 10-point lead. Boston College will have to kick it off here. Final 43 seconds. First ACC game for both sides. Well, Pitt in that coastal with Duke, with Virginia Tech, with Carolina, with Miami. I mean, some good teams there, but the Panthers have a good opportunity. BC in the Atlantic. And there's one big hurdle, obviously, Florida State. Louisville,
yeah,
impressive.
Louisville. I still think Clemson, even though they had, they had a rough game against Georgia, I still think they're a team to be reckoned with.
But the Panthers on the road in league, second week of the year. And they're going to go to 2-0. Boston College, they'll have to regroup a little bit. A timeout for Pitt.
be a 30-second timeout.
I guess they wanted to get organized on the onside kick attempt. Paul Chris doesn't seem too worried about it.
He doesn't seem too worried much about anything. I love his demeanor on the sideline.
Yep. He's a very even-keeled guy, and I think that's by design partially. He wants to make sure his kids feel very comfortable on the sideline. He doesn't want to give away any sort of panic. And why panic when you got number 24?
Yeah.
James Conner is a stud.
It's a pretty nice luxury to be able to just hand him the rock and let him go.
Florida State's got a couple good running backs. Duke Johnson with Miami. But James Conner may rise to the top in the ACC. Just a sophomore. But he deserves those handshakes. When we're done, Washington State on the road at Nevada. And the Cougars have some built-up expectations. Here's the onside attempt. They got it. And BC might have gotten it. Well, they definitely came up with the ball. Question is, did they do so legally? It was the kicker, Alex Howell.
I thought it went 10 yards.
That's what they're talking about here, clearly. Did it go the requisite 10 yards before the Eagles touched the ball?
The ruling on the field is that the kick went 10 yards and then was recovered by the kicking team.
So, that's BC ball.
First look, I thought it did cover that ground. Yeah, he's past it. When the kicker gets the ball in his hands, he was at 11 yards.
So Alex Howell got it himself. That was a good play. Well, still, I mean, it likely doesn't matter for the actual winner or the loser. But there's some folks who are sweating this out now. Tyler Murphy down the sideline, incomplete. 36 seconds to go. Intended for Thaddeus Smith. I guess when you're a 6'5" kicker, you can be a little more confident, rumbling with the big boys. The thing about it, Pitt may talk about their onside kick defense. The receiving team doesn't have to wait 10 yards. You can just go get the ball. So 2nd and 10. Murphy going deep again. And just gets shot. That's easy. Lafayette Pitts, the defensive back. That was an easy call.
If you're Pitts, though, don't even think about any chance of giving up the huge play.
Pass interference, defense number 6, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's not the worst penalty in the world in this situation. You don't want to give up a touchdown quick.
15 yards forward. They'll spot the ball. Still 30 seconds to go in this one. Tyler Boyd. Couple of touchdowns for him through the air and 72 yards receiving. Hoping that this game is over sooner rather than later. Murphy had it knocked away, picked it up on the carom. Here's a flag. Now he throws wide open is Bordner, and he'll get out of bounds. But I think it is all coming back. Two different flags on the field.
That hurts.
Holding, 67 offense, personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. The penalty's offset, first down.
It's a net loss for BC, though. You wind 15 seconds off the clock.
Huge play, opportunity. Tyler Murphy dribbling the ball on the ground before he, and I think it was the driving to the ground after the fact. I think that was what the penalty was on.
Yeah, David Durham, the defensive end. So 15 seconds to go. Ball at the 40-yard line. Maybe a final couple plays for BC. Looking toward the end zone. Phillips is there. Ball is intercepted. Intercepted by Terrence Webb, and that at long last will do it. 6 seconds left. Pitt will get out of BC with a win. Shaquem Phillips comes up limping at the end of that play. Well, Paul Chris talking to his defensive end about that late hit, and I think David saying, what did I do?
Yeah, he just threw it. I just hit him right after he threw it. I promised.
So the Panthers will take a knee, and they'll travel back to Pittsburgh with a very nice road conference win. That'll do it. So it's a final. The Pitt Panthers go to 2-0, and they beat Boston College 30-20. The final score for Danny Cannell along with Allison Williams. Dave Fleming saying so long. Now we'll go to Reno. It's Washington State, Nevada with Mark Neely.